here, let's kick it off. Ready for the weekend, can't get enough. Got my crew, Mike, Paul, Joyce, Ladies laugh. Zach and Lily bring the fun, we're on the path. It's the Nintopics podcast ride. Electronic beats and friends by my side. Gaming news and tales we'll share. No better way to start a weekend flair. Turn it up, volume high. Nintendo vibes, flying sky. Press play, let's dive in deep. Catching all the secrets we keep. It's the Nintopics podcast ride. Electronic beats and friends by my side. Gaming news and tales we'll share. No better way to start a weekend flair. Shoulders click, stories flow. Laughs and smiles as we go. Every Friday night so bright. Nintopics podcast feels so right. From Mario to Zelda quests, talking all the games we love the best. Choices, insights, Zach's big grin. Lily's got the news, let's begin. It's the Nintopics podcast ride. Electronic beats and friends by my side. Gaming news and tales we'll share. No better way to start a weekend flair. And always get slowly slow. Laughs and smiles as we go. Oh, oh. Every Friday night so bright. Nintopics podcast feels so right.
Well, this is not the time for this. Hold up. It's time for this part.
Nintopic podcast, all things Nintendo. Yeah.
I kind of feel I felt that we were missing something. Yeah.
Yeah, and then now it's time for this part.
It's
It is Friday.
Friday. Yes.
You made it to Friday, guys. The end of the week is here. It is time to relax, sit back, and enjoy the best and most positive podcast on the market, the Nintopic Podcast. We are a duo today. So far,
Yes, we're a duo.
We'll be a trio today, hopefully later on. But so far, we are a duo. But the show must go on. It's time to party. Okay, I think I have a better song.
We'll get older, older. So let us dance this side away. Our bodies move to the groove and the light that flickers. We get lost in the crowd, it's getting thicker. Get away from the drinks and
You guys better be dancing in the chat too.
Yeah,
Come
we
on.
can do it.
Yep.
Standing in a blurry dream. No one else can see her. Live your life within the moment. And don't go wait until the morning. You'll never know when it is over. All that I know is we'll get older. So let us dance this side away.
Yep. All right, we have till the weekend. I feel tired already.
Oh my.
What a workout, right? But hey, guess what? It's the Friday. It's the weekend. It's the best time to enjoy some fun, right? Just to let it all go. We start off with a little dance party. Why? so we can just shake it all off. It's the weekend. You had a long week of work, and so it's now time to enjoy the Nintopics podcast and have fun with us, right? Because that's what it's all about. It's about fun, entertainment, and just overall good Nintendo fun talk, right? And so, without further ado, introducing the only other person here, my co-host, to this side right here, Lilly Hyrule. How are you doing, Lilly?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking, Mike. How are you? I am very excited that it's Friday. And I don't really have anything else to share besides that I've been working. I mean, I've been playing Majora's Mask for the Zelda Marathon. Of course, I've been working as well. My regular full-time 9 to 5 job. So all good. But tomorrow I'm gonna go and watch Coraline because they remastered Coraline as a anniversary kind of thing. I'm not very sure. But then I completely forgot that Alien was going to be, premiered this week, and I've heard wonderful things about that movie. So probably I'm gonna go and watch it on Tuesday.
Yeah, they finally remade it the right way. Because like they made so many Alien movies, but they kind of keep failing. Yeah. So I was excited about the movie too. The trailer looks amazing. So it starts this weekend. Guys, go check it out. I mean, if you like horror and being it is horror because you're in space and then you're there's aliens and then there's smaller now.
Yep. Yeah. I feel that it's more like the dread that it creates, right? Being all the way up there and
That's crazy. That's insane. I mean, the last horror movie I went to, believe it or not, last horror movie I went to was Freddy versus Jason.
Oh, that's been a while.
Yeah,
that's been a while.
I remember. Okay, before that, it was other. I think it was like the Massacres movie, the whatever. I'm not into horror movies that much. I do watch them on my own, but because people around me, they're not into that much either. I remember being in the theater and I remember people just celebrating whenever Jason just got somebody or whenever Freddy just got somebody else. I'm like, what's going on here? Are you rooting for the human person and not the actual slasher guy? It's a different thing, yeah. But that was a long time ago though. I mean,
probably it's a good time for you to go back.
What's the last Fred Jason movie? Like seriously.
Like the remake or like the
even the remake one? Even the remake.
Yeah? Okay.
The remake.
No, I'm not sure.
It's a while. But I mean, have you played any games lately? You're doing live stream, right? Live streams?
Yeah, I'm still going through Majora's Mask right now. And I guess on a side, I've been, playing Resident Evil 4 because I'm still at a very slow pace. I'm kind of replaying the remake. And that's it. I think I'm focusing a little bit more into the marathon than anything else. And also a little bit of not Twilight Princess, Tears of the Kingdom. But yeah, a lot of Zelda. Nothing really coming up except Echoes of Wisdom. So yeah. Nothing else.
September, right?
At least in my books.
That's the most anticipated game for us, for Nintendo fans, right? And after that we got the Brothers, right? Or is it?
Yeah, the Brotherhood.
Mario
that
Party
one.
And then the Brothers, right? Mario Party.
Yeah,
and then the Brothers. But yeah, I mean, on my end, I haven't had time to play games because of the anime. But I did pick up the controller for about 5 minutes the other day. And I went back to the NES. I played Sega Genesis. I played on NSO. I played Super Mario 3, which is my favorite Mario game. It's my favorite Mario game. Wonder took its place when it comes to 2D side-scrolling games. So I played Mario 3. I beat it on one sitting, really fast. It's a really short game. And that was it. That's all my gaming for the weekend. I did a lot of gaming, guys, but it's all trailer editing and putting a show together so you guys can enjoy it in September. If you have not heard of it, it's called Indie Mania. It's coming very soon to a screen near you. Being hosted on IGN, the biggest platform of gaming and entertainment ever, right? And so
nothing major, right?
Nothing too big. Only 20 million subscribers for their American channel.
It's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, they have 10 million, only 10 million on Twix, Instagram Twix. Their Spanish channel, I think it has a couple million too. The Brazilian channel has another couple million. We're gonna be on all of them, so it's gonna be a good show. And of course, everything falls upon me because I'm the director of the show. I'm the creator, director, editor, basically, a host, recruiter, Paula's co-recruiter, and co-host. And so next year I'll have a bigger staff hopefully to help me with that. But this year, it's worth it, guys. You guys are worth it. So I'm putting all the work in for you. I haven't stopped in 2 weeks. Literally, there's been days that I've been working over the clock. And so, I'm still standing. And while I'm still standing, I will continue to entertain you guys. And we have a super chat here by Takumi. I love that name. I really, really love that name. And the font. How did you get that font? How do people get different fonts on their names? Like my name is like all boring, like Galaxy, but in no regular text.
Well, you can actually search for it, and it's a copy paste thing. Like it's or you can use like the codes and stuff, but it's gonna take a very long time. So it's easier to make it and just copy paste it.
I'm too lazy for that. Yeah, just copy paste.
Oh, by the way, I think Paul is waiting for us.
Yeah. Oh, there he is. Okay.
Yep.
All right, we got Paul Network straight from his mama's birthday party.
Yeah.
Hi.
All right, let's go ahead and read the super chat quick, and we go over to Paul. Hey, Mike, I'm pretty much want to share my appreciation for your content. It's finally getting me excited for something again after a long time. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. I really do appreciate it. I try to do my best to not overhype, but hype you enough so that you can hype responsibly, but still be hyped. So yeah. And this is a five. What's that little sign? Is that euros?
Yes, I think.
€5. Thank you so much, Takumi. I love that font. You're amazing. Thank you. And Paul Gill Network, straight from his mama's birthday party. Did you have cake?
Yeah, I did.
Nice. What kind of cake?
It was like a variety cheesecake. So it was like a marble slice that you could have. There was like a berry one. There was a strawberry one, a different berry one, like a crumbled cheesecake one, a chocolate cheesecake one. So like 6 different types of cheesecake flavors, and it was good.
And you got a haircut too.
Yeah, by myself.
Really?
Yeah. PGN Haircuts opened up in 2016.
PGN Haircuts. Is that part of the network?
Polygale Network Haircuts. Yeah, well, that's true. In September of 2016, my wife bought me a $17 hair clipper set.
Yeah.
You know? With the different blades of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And like, let me just see what it is. So I trimmed. It took a while before I got okay at it. And then I don't even know if I'm that good now, but good enough that I could go myself and like go 4 and go around and go with my fingers like this and go up to a 6 and go up to an 8 and then boom. When I try blending though, like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, oh, that's too much. Like that's too tough.
Yeah, like a fade.
Like a fade, like a really good fade? Not.
Yeah.
But when I did the math before, I don't know it now, but like a haircut every 2 months for the last 8 years, basically.
Here come the numbers.
That's like 48 haircuts that I've probably done. That's for my son too. So, maybe 70 haircuts of not having paid in 8 years at what? I don't even know what's a haircut cost these days. $30, $40?
$20.
Oh, well, in my area is like $25.
Yeah.
Well, with a tip, you go 30 times 70, $2,100 in haircuts saved.
That's insane, man.
The numbers again, Paul.
There
goes the numbers. Well, we're talking about hair now. I dye my own hair, and I also cut it myself. The reason is, of course, I like to save that money, and I rather spend it on something else.
you find a way to save, like.
Of course.
Mike, you mow your own lawn too, right, Mike?
I do, yeah.
You see, you mow your own lawn.
I enjoy it though. I enjoy it. It's like my man.
Therapy.
I go outside, just mow my lawn. Like I don't care if my lawnmower pushes itself. I'm gonna pretend I'm pushing it.
my mom was lucky as a kid.
Yeah.
For me, because I liked vacuuming because I enjoyed the lines going clean over clean.
That's how I mow the lawn.
OCD there. I don't know.
The same thing. I enjoyed it, so my dad was lucky too. Like,
yeah.
Well, I think they're lucky just because they had me, of course, naturally.
Yeah. Well, that's how I met my mom.
Met my mom, so he knows the humor.
Yeah. That's how I met my mom. My lawn. I mean, it's a square, so I make sure to go like on rolls like that because it does create that little line that you like seeing in the lawn. Yeah, it's that grassy kind of thing. Yeah, I do.
Windows are not fun.
My wife has to remind me to cut the lawn. I'm like, do I have to right now? Can I do it tomorrow? I do it anyway.
Get out there. No.
I like how this podcast went from video games to household chores, and why are they done?
It hasn't even got to video games yet. We haven't even started.
We're not there yet.
Well, I came at the right time, I guess.
What did I do?
Yep.
What did I do?
So you moved the layout.
I did. This one?
There we are.
There you go.
Perfect. We're back.
All right. Okay. So, guys, welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to the hairdressing podcast and
Moline
podcast.
And Paul, any games recently? I mean, we've been dealing with a lot of games recently, but we have not played one of them.
I know, right?
You know, finally, I was meaning to go back to it for a long time, and then finally I went back this past week. Was Princess Peach Showtime.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
And
okay.
my kids beat it way before me. And then I couldn't play it for a little while, and I was like, I gotta hop back in, and then I finally hopped back in. So I'm relatively close to the end. Probably I'll beat it by the next podcast. It's good. It's a fun, cute little game. I like it. I'm liking it.
All right, so we got a good amount of people coming in now. So I think it's time to start the podcast for everyone to enjoy. And I'm gonna let you guys choose, Paula and Lily. We have two topics for today, right? They're two very good topics because they're both on the way. We have a Nintendo Direct that is approaching us, right? And Nintendo has followed the schedule for Directs. It hasn't been the Directs that they normally do, but the dates they've kept up with. We got something in February. We got something in April. April, that was the New World. We got the Direct in June as scheduled. Nintendo has not literally geared away from anything this year, even though it's a transition year. And so we expect one to happen also in September. But there's also a rumor that it might be in August. So we have also Nintendo Switch 2 information regarding the release of the Nintendo Switch 2, the release time. And not only that, but the price point of the Nintendo Switch as well. So we Switch 2. And including a brand new patent, the first patent discovered by this man here who never sleeps and always looks at patents all the time.
Good job.
This way?
Fist bump. There you go.
And so it's the first patent showing the inside of the Nintendo Switch 2, like the internals. Not only that, but also the Pro Controller for the Nintendo Switch 2.
We're gonna have Pro Controllers?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And so it's the very first patent. It's already being covered by a lot of people because it does mention a lot of the rumors that were out there. So what do you guys want to cover first? Both topics are awesome. There's so much to look forward to in both. Which one do you guys want to go first?
You pick, Paul. I'm putting you on a spot there.
Patent talk?
You say what? The what?
The patent talk?
Okay, yeah, we can go that way. Nintendo Switch 2? All right, so Nintendo Switch 2. Let me go ahead and pull up the patent here.
Let's see it.
Let's start with that. Enjoy the music while I look up the patent here.
The other thing is that for those people that don't know, what exactly does a patent tell us? I know it's telling us a story, but for everybody out there who might not know exactly what we're looking at.
So patent basically, patents are a way of Nintendo protecting their ideas. Okay, they have products that they're working on. They have Nintendo is constantly working around the clock on games and ideas for products. And so when they do products, they actually do their own version of the product in-house. Wait a minute, we have what? Hold up. No. This can't be it. Oh, never mind.
Oh, okay.
I wrote
on?
I wrote down the wrong thing. Sorry. I thought I saw something that I didn't. So never mind. So a patent is basically a document, a legal document submitted to the for example, we have the USPTO here, the United States trademark offices, where you submit your information, your idea, your product, and it's meant to protect it, right? So that nobody else does it. Nintendo, they make their patents with their products, even though their products might be still in different stages in the development. They make patents constantly to protect certain features, certain parts of the segment. And so even though let's say we find a product for a Nintendo Switch, right? Or that version of the Nintendo Switch might never make it out.
Exactly.
But there is features within there that they were kind of aiming to protect. Not really the entire picture of the patent, but features within it. And so there's been a lot of people saying patents never come out because they don't understand them. And to understand them, you need to understand that a patent is never meant to come out. A patent just protects a certain feature that Nintendo wants to protect in order to bring it forward. Now, I have here, this is the first ever image of a Nintendo Switch 2, the inside. Let me see if I can make it bigger. Let me know. Can you guys tell me if it's becoming bigger when I do this?
Yes, it is.
Is it too big now, or is it good?
No, it's good. I see left side terminal, first slot, second slot. Yeah, I see.
All right. So as you can see here, just so you know what you're looking at, left side terminal is where the left Joy-Con goes. The right side terminal is where the right Joy-Con goes. So you know that this middle part is the inside of your actual Nintendo Switch system, the screen, the back part. And so what we see here is basically everything what it's described. Like you see the speaker, you see the display, you see its sensors, lower terminal where you charge the phone. The Switch.
Well, it looks like a phone to be fair, but
you charge the thing here, and then you see how
at the bottom,
battery, the power. I think you can actually trace it to the power and power button right here, and so there's a lot here. Let me go ahead and go back just a bit, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just go just for the heck of it. Let me go ahead into another patent here really fast, because there is another patent around here. Let's see if we can find it. I don't think this is it. This is by the way, this is another Nintendo Switch patent in here. Has to do with 3D audio. And so a lot of the patents they've been giving out, we speculate that one has to do with VR.
Input device, processor.
Another one that has to do with audio. So this is kind of like talking about the audio and how far the audio drops after it kind of leaves or whatever, just like distance stuff. You can tell I've read a lot of patents. Let's look at the other one. I'm looking for a specific one here. Okay, this is the Nintendo. Okay. So
that's a light. Yeah.
No, this is the actual model, the big one.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And so whenever we get the Nintendo Switch patent, you also see how it works and everything, the front, the back, the sides, kit and caboodles of it. And then after that, Nintendo goes ahead and they show the inside. Okay, so this is the inside of the Nintendo Switch right here.
So you're kind of confirming that this has happened in the past.
Yeah. Like every patent for Nintendo Switch I've seen, and I think I've seen like maybe 90% of them are like this. This is the actual Nintendo Switch. We have a slot for the terminal here, terminal, battery, power, angular velocity, a whole bunch of stuff, speaker, display, all this stuff. Right, left, right Joy-Con, left Joy-Con. But if we go ahead and upgrade to Nintendo Switch 2, boom. Now we have a cooling fan. Why? Because it's a bigger CPU. It's a more powerful CPU. We have a temperature sensor with the cooling fan, because this controls this, right? The cooling fan controls the temperature sensor. We have an ambient light. You know what that means, right? Ambient light is to control how the screen is projected, how bright it is. And so we have an ambient light sensor. That means that we have the possibility of having an automated dimmer. Like, for example, if you're inside in really low light, the brightness goes down so it doesn't hurt your eyes. But if when you're outside and it's really bright, brightness goes up automatically. So this is a sensor, and the iPhone has a sensor on it as well. So then here's where the confirmation starts. Magnetic force sensor.
Oh, what's the name that we were coming up with? Snap all the time?
Snap. Yeah, the snap.
Yeah.
The switch snap.
So snapping to the sides.
Yeah, the switch snap. So the magnetic force sensor is so that the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con can attach via magnet. The reason is there's a force sensor is because this is an electromagnetic magnet. It's not a regular magnet like you find in your fridge. It's controlled by electricity. The force or the attraction of it, how strong it is controlled by electricity. So with that logic, let's say your Joy-Cons, your Joy-Cons are kind of not really attaching well. Nintendo can probably fix that with an update, right? Because it's meant to work with electricity and with software, right? So there's a lot of people saying out there that there's an additional button to the Switch. There is an additional button in the Switch, and there's a Switch actually here. It's an additional button. Let me look at it here. I think it is here. This might be this one, might be the other one. This is a lot of text, guys. A lot of text that's involved in it.
You're looking for an image? Okay.
Yeah.
You can probably go Command F or whatever, so you can find the specific word.
Yeah, but it's I think it's in this pattern. Maybe this one.
Incorporate a magnet's. I'm sure they could. They could incorporate a magnet's sensitivity into some of the buttons. So, like, you know, the old GameCube, how it took a long time to click down, and then like how on the PlayStation 5 controller, the DualSense, you know, it's spring loaded to have that resistance, capacity, pressure, and like we've talked about on the podcast before, like the analog stick possibly having, you know, a little bit of difficulty to press it, like if Mario's walking through molasses or something like that, or skidding across it. Maybe some of that magnet tech is incorporated into the controller itself, because the magnet's intensity making the controller be a little bit more difficult. Then you'd have less moving parts instead of springs that would wear out in time, or magnetic resistance in that L and R button to push down or to season up.
Yeah,
it's intriguing. I like patents too. I mean, I'm glad that Mike does a good job uncovering them and bringing them to a lot of people's attentions, because it shows what Nintendo's thinking. Not even if not everything comes out, what the company's thinking, which is impressive. So maybe this will come out, maybe a version of it will, but it's awesome to see what's on their minds.
Yeah. And another thing we can look at here before we get to this, there's more. By the way, there's more. We're gonna get into the controllers really fast. There's some mechanics involved in the patent that could be related to a game. I'll let the chat just guess what game they think that it is. Okay. We got the magnetic sensor here, magnetic force sensor. We have the ambient light, temperature sensor. Now it has a cooling fan. But if you notice here, we have a first slot and we have a second slot. Okay. So, and the answer is no, it's not an SD slot. So we have a first slot and a second slot. In the other patent, we have just one slot for the Nintendo Switch. There are two options here. The first option is, but by the way, they both mean backwards compatibility. Okay. First option, there's one slot that has two features in it, two adapters in it, within it, one to read Nintendo Switch games, one to read Switch 2 games. Okay, within the same exact slot, there is a component that you can actually just insert one slot, or it has literally has two slots, one next to each other, one for Switch games, one for Switch 2 games. But there are two slots in this here confirmed. There are game slots on these right here. First slot, IF1, and then second slot, IF1. So they're both game slots, but we have two of them instead of one. Okay. Let's see here. What else we have? Next. Let's go over to the more interesting part. This is the Nintendo Switch, and right here, look, it's a controller. And look, what's this? System. This is system. And what's this? This is your TV right here. So it's a controller connected to your TV, which is connected to the TV. Controller connected to the Switch, which is connected to the TV. You can tell because this right here is wireless. This means wireless. It's connected via Bluetooth, right? Then the system connected via cable to the display. So we're talking about a Pro controller here. Now, if you go down, you see the new and redesigned joystick or sticky, like this stick.
Yeah.
Okay. It does have a little button on top, and it does have a little wiggle room here. There's two of them, by the way. This is one of them. The second one, this is one of the buttons. This is one of the actually AB, XY buttons. Okay. Then we have another XYB button. It all changes. It looks like it's now very mechanical. So when you push it, it's gonna look more like a mechanical keyboard rather than like a thing. So I'm guessing
mechanical sounds are amazing.
Yeah, and maybe there's some haptic in there too. Because look at that. Look at how big that is. Right now, the patent is not showing you the insides of it because it's not talking about that. It's actually talking about one part of the device. This is the controller. You see here? Power supply section, communication controller, sensor device. Now you see that this is a controller. You've seen this is how the Joy-Cons appear on patents. Right here. This is how Joy-Cons appear. So you see the left.
Yeah, it connects the slide to the right or left.
Yeah, so this is how Joy-Cons appear in patents. You see them both. That's Link right there, little guy.
Yes.
And then on a power controller, what's the word? Power Pro controller.
Pro controller? Okay.
They only show that one controller. Now here's the other part. So we might have two different types of sticks for the new one. This one is more interesting. You know why? Because as we can see in the next diagram, this is what it does. The actual thing slides.
Like slides.
Yeah, it slides and you can tilt it. So it can slide front, slide back, and side to side. And also tilt. You can see it here. You can also slide to the front and tilt to the back. So there's so many ways you can do and tilt to make different moves. Now, what moves does it make? This is the part where you guys come in the chat and let me know what do you think these movements look like, okay? And what character in the world of Nintendo do we attach these movements to? All right, so explaining the velocity, low and high. So when you slide it very slowly like this, then it's a low move. But if you go like this, fast, you just push it fast, that's a high velocity move. When you do a low velocity move, forward, it does a forward roll. When you do a low velocity move, but then you tilt, it does a backwards roll. When you do a perpendicular roll, if you do a perpendicular to the side, it does a cartwheel.
Oh my god!
If you do the same exact thing, you do it faster, it does a forward jump roll. So it does like a little, like a front flip. If you do it faster to the back, then it does a back flip. And if you do it to the side like fast, it does a cartwheel jump. So a cartwheel jump is like a flip to the side. It's like a cartwheel without putting your hands on the ground. I've done a lot in martial arts. So you guys tell me, what character do you think this kind of fits most?
Character or game or characters?
Yeah.
Plural.
I think it's obviously Emio.
Of course. I mean,
Right.
it's gonna be doing that cartwheel jump, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So the rumors also spoke about Mario being the first game, that launch title for Nintendo Switch 2. This is a Nintendo Switch 2 patent. talking about a Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller, describing new mechanics that could be related to the new Mario game. And so, again, this is the first time we see actual literal content, like Nintendo, a patent describing things that are obviously for that next gen 3D Mario, like Paul wrote in the chat. Let's see here.
Well, it can actually apply to Mario and Zelda easily.
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
Because I mean, my boy likes to roll. Let me tell you that.
He does, and he does do a backflip.
Yeah, he does.
So maybe
Sorry.
Yeah,
A what?
Samus Aran turns into a morph ball and she could roll forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong can
Very
roll.
agile and he could roll.
Wait a
the
minute.
ball.
Hold up. So, okay, so that's what they're doing. They're literally giving us moves, some big base moves that almost any of their first big party characters can do, because they've all done it. So maybe this also talks about maybe an open world Donkey Kong where he can also do back rolls and flips and all that stuff. I know Link does the backflip when you do like that backflip time and then you stop timing.
Flurry rush.
Yeah. You kick the guy's butt. But
Yeah, of course.
so yeah, my friends, this is the Nintendo Switch. I'm sorry, Nintendo Switch 2 patent information. Now that you've seen the patent, now that I've shown you real tangible information, let me know in the chat if this is your first time looking at this and how excited you are actually seeing something real rather than a rumor or a leak or something like that. Something like tangible, real from Nintendo. And so now let's go ahead and go into the news, because we had somebody who I'm pretty sure has some kind of access or some kind of knowledge of what's going on with the system. Let me get something here very quickly. If I can, okay, what is this? This is not it.
Oh my God! Someone in the chat just said "Cartwheel sounds like Diddy Kong,"
Ooh.
and you know that Zach has been. By the way, shout out to Zach. He's currently not with us tonight, but
he's alive.
He's okay, right? Because there's a flooding situation, and he needs to take care of that, right? So, but when he has been mentioning Diddy Kong Racing for a very long time. So, if that could be the case, that'll be amazing.
And Nintendo renewed the patent, the trademark for the word Diddy Kong. So we don't know whether it's for a game or maybe because he's part of the new Donkey Kong game too. Could be either. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into the news about the actual information here. And so for Nintendo Switch 2, where is that other one? It's eluding me. When we sent, what episode are we? Episode 30. All right. So, So, according to an analyst by the name of Hideki Yasuda, from Toyo Securities, the next Nintendo Switch console is expected to be released in the first half of 2025. Okay. Now, remember, the Nintendo's president Shintaro Furukawa did say that they will reveal the system within this fiscal year. That is going to happen. Okay, that is something they said. They need to reveal the system. They're going to reveal it within this fiscal year. This is not a rumor. It's not a leak. It's Nintendo themselves letting us know, hey, we hear you. The system is done. We're going to reveal it this fiscal year, right? The fact that they're going to reveal it means that it's done, right? They probably have a couple of them done. They have to have one made for the commercial, right? For all the shooting and stuff, and then they have to have several done, because within that trailer there are a lot of people playing it. Some lucky person right there who got to film that trailer, got to see it already, signed a huge giant NDA.
A huge NDA, yeah, absolutely.
Really huge NDA. I'm pretty sure they're being kept like in some kind of bunker somewhere.
You're not allowed to leave until this date.
Yeah, until the system comes out. because man, to be part of that trailer, whew, crazy. Yeah. But yeah, the analyst says it's coming out in the first half of next year. I believe it wholeheartedly. Okay, I do believe Nintendo's going to launch the system, not release it this year. January, February, we get a presentation, and then around March, I'll say April or May, we'll probably see the release of the system. And so what he says here is that the launch will be between April and July. Well, let's go. April, May, June, July. So basically the first half of the year. And of course, in the beginning of the next fiscal year. So when they say, guys, when you hear this, they're not going to release it this fiscal year, don't worry. That doesn't mean anything. We are still less than a year away from having this system in our hands. Because if they are releasing it, let's say in July, it's August right now. We have 11 months. If they release it even further towards us, it's still less than a year, you know? So the price of the new console is speculated to be under $499. And I'm going to go ahead and then pass it over to the crew so you guys can get your thoughts in this. Fans and analysts have been discussing potential features and pricing strategies for the new console, with some suggesting a base model. I said a base model similar to the OLED version and a possible future OLED model at a slightly higher price. Okay, so guys, remember, if at any point you have a question or you want to be involved in the podcast, you can do so with any super chat, or if you have a question, we're going to go ahead and star your question and then read it at the end of the podcast. Okay, so you don't have the super chat for the end, but if you want to be part of the conversation, you want us to read your comment, interrupt everything we're doing, and then make you part of the conversation, you can do that with any type of super chat, and then we'll go ahead and read your question and everything. Okay, thank you. And by the way, in advance, thank you for your support. I appreciate you guys. So yeah, all right, so the first part of this message, I'm gonna go ahead and throw it over to you, Lily. Let me first half of the year, launch from April to July. What are your thoughts?
So the potential launch for me, I think it's more reasonable to go or aim for April. Okay. Yeah. The reason for it is because I remember that Nintendo should, focus on more. It makes sense in terms of fiscal year. It also makes sense in terms of a holiday. Let's say holiday. Let's name it holiday. So April, kids get together. They want a new game. So I guess that's more reasonable. But that being said, I'm not completely disregarding July at all, right? Because it's the summer. So,
Either way,
but
it's still within the year.
I guess it's going to be a better strategy to aim for April. But of course, Paul can completely, make me change my mind about it, because he's our numbers guy, so he'll know for sure.
All right, Paul. So what do you think when it comes to time release? We're not talking. We're gonna go into price after, but when it comes to release time frame, what are your thoughts, and what do you think they might strategize? What do you think?
Okay, Lily said it right. I actually went back in Nintendo's entire history, and they've only ever released one system in August, and that was Super Nintendo in the United States. So August has one. April, only one. February, one. September has 3. July has 3. June has 4. March has 4. October has 6, but a few of those are late 80s, early 90s. So it's such an old Nintendo that I don't think decisions made from the late 80s, early 90s has too much impact of today, because we're in a different world. And November has 10. November has consistently been the highest. My hope, from a numbers perspective, because I want Nintendo Switch to beat the record, was I didn't want it to come out in 2024. I was always hoping after March 3rd, because I wanted to beat that record. So my earliest prediction is March 7th. I'm still sticking with that. My latest is November 21st, because that's that Black Friday, Thanksgiving optimal day that fits in close with like the 18th for GameCube, the 19th for Wii, 18th for Wii U, like all that right there. But if the rumors suggest first half of the year, but after the fiscal year ends, meaning we take away March, then you look at April, May, June. April's so low. May is one of the 3 months that has never had a system. January, May, and December are the only 3 months that a Nintendo system has never come out. So I don't think December it has a chance, or January. But if Nintendo wants to disrupt the game, because they can, May, despite never having had been done before, all of a sudden becomes that much more attractive. Like, if it's not March, the safe answer is June, because June is the next highest at 4, which ties March. And June is like the month of March in that it ends their fiscal quarter. So they can release it in June and finish off the quarter strong and go into the next quarter, July, strong as well. But I like the way I like the way 051525 sounds. And that's May 15th, 2025. So I'm looking at from the marketing standpoint, from how a poster would look, 05-15-25. You have 012-555. It looks elegant. So the odds say it has never happened before, but the number is so good, and it's a different Nintendo. So I would love May 15th, 2025 from that, because like when you think of history, nobody will ever say, when did Sega Dreamcast come out again? Oh, 9999. Whether it's your favorite system or not, it's like the easiest thing to remember, 9999. Everything else, you're like, what is it? Hold on, November 15th or 22nd? Oh, March 3rd, or well, Nintendo Switch is easy also. 3rd month, 3rd day, and then 17. But I know I kind of didn't pick one, but I picked a few. So
have you?
I'm
Go
kind
ahead.
of on May 15th.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that. Have you seen that meme where he's writing things and big theories? That's exactly you right now, Paul. And I love how you kind of started to narrow it down to options. So that is a great point, of course. But I'm just saying it was hilarious. It was amazing.
I mean, and I've said for months, imagine everybody crying if Nintendo releases this thing in November. Honestly, as long as compelling software comes out between now and November, would it really matter if you got a new Donkey Kong, a new Star Fox, another Fire Emblem, a new Punch-Out, an update to Kid Icarus, those 2 Zelda Wind Waker and Twilight Princess ports, Metroid Prime 4, Pokemon AZ, Legend ZA? Like, isn't that a lot? God,
it is a lot, and it's a possibility.
155 million people would be satisfied with that.
Nope, 122 million.
Well, of that active user base, which
it's
Mike,
still a lot. It's still a lot.
Mike transitioned well into what I was going to say later, but I don't want to take too much time up. But Mike just said it. Of the 144.5 million Nintendo Switch owners, 125 million are active. That means 86.5% are still playing their system once a month at least, consecutively in the last quarter. That's a lot. That means it's not old and dead and replaced with a 4-year newer PS5 or Xbox Series X. It's not in someone's closet. They didn't unplug it. Maybe it's not the owner playing it, but how there are multiple accounts, it's someone else, but they're still being used, So when you hear people online complain, oh man, this thing's so underpowered. Oh, this dude, 86.5%, 125 million people are still happy. You just hear the most loud speaking vocal minority of 5 to 10 million that are on the forums and that are watching and stuff.
Yeah.
But most people are having a good time. So Nintendo really can, hate to say it, they could release that sucker November 21st, and the vast majority would say, who cares? You mean to tell me I got to use Star Fox in August? Sweet.
Yeah, but psychologically speaking, once we're in 2025, once we're in that year, right? It's 2025, January or February. Nintendo says November. Who cares? They said it. It's November. We're done. We're waiting. And so I think from then to there, it's all about just having fun with the current games and just waiting for the Switch to be released. But I agree. The other part of the news was related to the actual price. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and start with this one. It mentions that they expect it to be less than $499. I'm gonna say something that I'm pretty sure I'll probably be alone with, but I don't think Nintendo will even raise the price from the Switch OLED model for that base model of the first Nintendo Switch 2. They will probably still make a profit and sell more than one unit per household, because at the end goal, Nintendo Switch is about selling more than one console per household. We have 5 here. All has 2 or 3 in his house. Lily has 2 in her house. Right, Lee? 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So basically, it's like, in households with multiple people, multiple kids, multiple adults, Nintendo wants to make sure they sell more than one system, because their real money comes from software. Like, how many billion did they sell, Paul, for software?
Like, they're over 1.2 billion now.
And so that's where the real money comes to. So they're still making profit on the Switch now, but the real money comes from their video games, and it's a constant thing. Now, that's the reason why I think maybe let's go ahead and say $399 for the base model, and then later on $449 for the OLED model. If an OLED model comes later on, but I don't think Nintendo's going to pass the $400 mark for the Nintendo systems. Nintendo is not like Xbox or PlayStation, where you only have one system. Nintendo is geared towards family members and towards friends, and towards having that system out between, it's a mobile console, it's a handheld console. It's their only handheld console, by the way. They have no other. Like before, they used to have a handheld area and a home system. Now they have just one. And so to me, it just makes sense for Nintendo that they don't go high in price. I think that $399, which is $400, is I would go from $359 to $399 for the base model of the Nintendo system, and then they'll probably go into the 400s with the OLED model once they bring it. An OLED 8-inch model, it's amazing. I'm pretty sure it's going to be super crazy. And at the time, if they implement the latest technology into that screen, then forget it. We're going to do good. But I agree with the article. It says less than $499, but I don't think even $499. I think $500 is too much for a Nintendo Switch. I'm talking about not as an individual, because as a content creator, as a gamer myself, yeah, I'm gonna buy it. But I'm talking about as a general consensus. I'm putting my feet into other people's shoes, into parents out there who are looking to buy that next gen system for their kids in the holiday season. They're not gonna spend $1,500 on systems in one holiday season, right? When they could spend, let's say, they sell for $300, $399. That's $800 for 2. That's $1,200 for 3. Still pretty much, but yeah, I think Nintendo's going to keep it at a price point that is going to surprise a lot of people. It's going to surprise a lot of people because Nintendo knows where the money is. Plus, they have other sources of revenue like theme parks and movies now.
Absolutely.
And so, Money Man.
Okay. two different avenues. On the one hand, what is $300 from 2017 worth today? Today, it's $381.16. So even though the profit margins are greater for Nintendo selling a Nintendo Switch now than they were 7 years ago, because parts have come down, it's cheaper to manufacture, since they didn't adjust the price at all, with inflation having gone up, it's also worth less. So people buying a Nintendo Switch for $300 now is effectively cheaper than someone else's $300 from 7 years ago, because they're making more per average. You know what I mean? You got to think of that. Like, if Nintendo were to release a Nintendo Switch now, they probably wouldn't for $300, because then they would be losing profit. You know, what's an OLED worth? Because that's a lot closer. That's 4 years newer. A $350 OLED from 2021 is worth $412 now. So if you figure, well, the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to have more graphics, more guts, more power, greater CPU, GPU, more modern architecture, more time spent creating it, but maybe less R&D in designing it in the first place, because it's an upgrade of Nintendo Switch, taking into play that kind of things, licenses for this and that, and NVIDIA maybe wanting more, and a lot of things into consideration. Maybe a bigger screen, but okay, maybe not an OLED screen. I could definitely see why some analysts are like, yeah, less than 500. But Nintendo also wants to make this thing penetrate the market. And we've seen some systems released too expensive, and that hurt. Like PlayStation 3, having a $600 product at launch was a lot for people. Now, they did have a cheaper version, but like the main one that people wanted was $600, and that was kind of a lot. So I don't think Nintendo is going to go with $500, but like Mike said, I would buy one because I'm a Nintendo.
As a gamer, as a gamer, we have no issues with the price, but as speaking for the rest of the consumer, and knowing that selling more than one system per household, if that's Nintendo's goal, then they know what they need to do for that to happen. You know,
I think 400 is the number, but the only way I could see them tipping their toes into 500 territory is they got to do the following, which I did put up on X, and Mike and I actually were talking about it earlier on X, and that is something I've shared on the podcast before, but having two different SKUs at launch, not a light, not an OLED, not a this, not that, the same exact system, but you would have a $400 Nintendo Switch 2 that comes with a dock. Then you'd have a $300 Nintendo Switch, which is $100 less, that doesn't come with a dock. Then you'd have the dock separate for $100. So you don't have to have FOMO. You don't have to have fear of missing out. If you want to buy one system and later on buy the dock, you can, and it didn't cost you any more. If you want to have multiple docks, you can do that later on. If you just really want that system and play it, cool. If you're primarily a portable gamer, maybe you have no need for that extra 100. But this is a way that Nintendo could make, good money on both. And hey, $300 just for the system, that's less to pack in. We're assuming that the dock is a little bit more sophisticated these days with its own fan in it, and with HDMI 2.1 output and a bigger power supply, because it's beefier components. So the old dock used to be $100 when Nintendo sold it separately, but Nintendo never sold the base Nintendo Switch separately. So there was that. So if they have a $400 and $300 version dock on the side for $100, I could see that. Or maybe a $500 and $400 version, and then that's how they get it into homes, where $400 is still a lot to think of having multiple versions, but you would only need to buy the $500 one once to have a dock, and then $400 ones later on, and then we're talking before they would have a light model and stuff like that. Don't release the light at launch, stagger it. And then there's like one last little thing, but this could be tricky, but it would solve a lot of people's problems. If the Nintendo Switch 2 could be played in the base dock, if it could work, or in the OLED dock, maybe it doesn't have all of its functionality. Let's just envision that, okay, it's not going to be displaying in 4K unless if it's on the OLED model, because the OLED model does have a 4K output, even though it doesn't do anything. We think because of the Nintendo Switch Plus was at one time a thing that never came out, and that's why they made it, but they scrapped it and delayed it to have a Nintendo Switch 2 or Nintendo Snap or whatever, right? But if it could work in the old dock, then you have a lot of people's problems solved. Okay, it doesn't do 4K, it doesn't do this. The system gets too hot, so it has to be clocked down at 1080p, 900p, because it doesn't have that secondary fan and that higher energy source.
Yeah.
But this two unit SKU with the dock on the side seems about the least invasive thing to confuse the market, because all of us watching here probably have no problem wrapping our minds around that. But I worked in retail a long time ago, and even when I was covering video games for gamers.com, 1up.com, and stuff like that, I saw there's a big umbrella out there of general consumer that what's the new, what's the regular, the XL, the 2DS, the 2DS XL, the new, the PS2, the PS2 Slim, the Super Slim, and 64. Hold on. This one has the Xbox 360. The one with the Chrome is that one, but the one without it is the one without a hard drive. Hold on, wait. But then the black one is the Slim. Which one's the red heat? That's too much for most people. But 2 SKUs, and not like Wii U and Wii U Black and White. No, that kind of fragmented the market. It didn't help Nintendo at that point because it sort of neutered one system of having such a low, hard drive in it.
Yeah.
The other one normal. I wouldn't say put a terabyte in this one and 256 in that one. No, keep it the same. Just I love that idea. I don't know if Nintendo would or will, but man, it makes so much sense to me.
Yeah. What do you think, Lily? Price range?
Price range. I will go with $399 or not $499 or above that. They're pretty much, they have to stick to that particular range. Because we know that people are going to continue to buy more Nintendo Switch. That includes both the OLED version and also the light version. Because like you said, it's a hybrid console. That's exactly what it is. So that means that I wouldn't say it's mandatory, but it's going to get to a point where you're going to need more and more Nintendo Switch, depending on how many people are in your household, right? How many people are actually playing and stuff like that. Like even if you have like 2 kids, like there's no point of having just one Nintendo Switch if they need to play, like if they want to play locally, but together, they can't do it if they don't have 2 Switches, right? So it kind of makes sense. I do agree, like it'll be an amazing feature for you to have like a sort of like those hot swappable batteries that you have on some headsets where your headset dies and you just hot swap that battery. You can do the same with the Switch, like just swap it to another base, right? And being compatible that way, it'll pretty much eliminate the kind of the need of you having a separate whole new system. Also making compatible the controllers that we already have. Like a lot of people purchase a lot of Joy-Cons because of the drift problem, right? So what's going to happen to all of those controllers? Like and that price for me sounds very reasonable if you're getting all those features that we have been discussing and all the things that that is potential to happen with the Nintendo Switch. I remember that someone asked me this question, like, would I be disappointed if it doesn't really have the same power as a Steam Deck? I'm like, no, because for starters, it's not going to be $700, right? Like a Steam Deck it's kind of a bit above my budget. And I mean, the Steam Deck can run better games and, with a lot better graphics and stuff because it's essentially a computer. But the Switch is a whole different story. Like I like the fact that it's very versatile, and you can do a lot of things with like there's a lot of games that they're very unique and they are very well aligned with the functionalities that the Nintendo console can do. I was watching a video about the Nintendo GameCube yesterday, and when I first released, they did mention something very important, that there wasn't really like a new Mario or a Zelda released on the release, like exactly the same release date as the console. And for them, that's history. Like that was a flaw that happened in the past. Now they have a very strong foundation with the Switch.
Yeah.
So they can give themselves a chance of, not going way above their budget or like trying to normalize it in that particular range. So $3.99, $4.99, probably if they add more features to it. Like it'll be nice for you to be able to personalize it, like kind of on the menu adjustments and things that you want to add to the Switch. But I mean that's pretty much going, probably it's not going to happen, but that'll be very nice. Like, I just want to add an OLED screen on it or something like that. Who knows? Probably it's going to be, there's going to be already included, but I feel it's very reasonable because that's your market. And if you go above that, I don't really think it's going to work.
I 100% agree. And you made the right choosing of words. That is your market. You don't want to gear outside of your target audience because you're gonna lose. Versus you have 125 million within your target audience. Okay.
Yeah.
And I know that there's times that have changed, but not really. For us broke people, we still broke. Okay.
We'll still buy a collector's if you throw it at us, right?
Yeah. But and believe it or not, the economy is really bad in the United States. In the United States nowadays, the economy is horrible. Okay, jobs are not that great. There's a lot out there happening. Versus 2017, at post 2020, things have changed dramatically. In 2017, we were living in a different world, and 2025, 24, it's a different world. You know what I mean? People are I believe, because I remember I work with people outside of here. I hear a lot of stories, and so there are a lot of people out there, having financial struggles that they didn't have before. And so we have to keep all that in mind. When talking about price points, I always like to think about the regular person who is not a gamer like me, because for me, look at my room, look at it.
Yeah.
I have the Switch too? Yeah, I will. If I can get that night before, I'll break in the store and get it. But for the everyday folk, the mom, the dad, even the young person saving up, for that Nintendo system, $500, $449, $450. That's a high amount of money to just, you know what I mean? And so I think Nintendo, like you said, I agree, $3.99, and people in the chat agree. $3.99 seems to be like that.
Yeah, that sweet spot.
Yeah, it's like, it's the sweet spot there. I agree with Paul in offering an option without a dock, but I'm not sure Nintendo's might do that just because Nintendo's Nintendo. We'll just have to wait and see. We're very close. We will see the system very soon. The reveal trailer has already been announced that it will be within this fiscal year. We don't know exactly when. Nintendo knows. There's a lot going on. We just spoke about a patent. And my friends, go whenever you have an opportunity, go on the Mike Odyssey channel, go on to the videos, do a search, put Nintendo Switch OLED edition. There's a chance, a 99% chance, you'll find a whole bunch of patents. I'll be saying, hey, guess what?
You were discussing,
There is a Nintendo Switch edition coming. And what happens later? Oh, an edition Switch came, right? Before the edition Nintendo Switch, Zelda came. I was telling people, hey, there's an edition coming. I think it's Metroid. I was wrong. but an edition did come. You know what I mean?
Well, it was to be fair, it was kind of aimed to Metroid Dread, the OLED, at least.
Yeah.
When they started marketing it.
Yeah, and then that was the other one, and so but the one for the Zelda one with Echoes of Wisdom, the light that when it's releases in October, right?
Yes, it releases in September 26th, exactly the same date as Echoes of Wisdom. I already pre-ordered it. So,
Okay. I pre-ordered myself too, hopefully.
But I wasn't really expecting a light. I have to be honest. Like, I did not grow up with Game Boy at all.
Yeah.
Like, I can't really play my console hybrid. It's just, I'm kind of old school.
Yeah.
Anyways, I was kind of hoping to get a Nintendo OLED version, but the Tears of the Kingdom edition, I wasn't really a fan of, unfortunately. This design, I find it very pretty. Gold color, the Triforce on it, the Hylian crest and everything. But no OLED, just a regular light.
Yeah.
Still, I'm gonna get it. So, yeah.
You're gonna get the Echoes of Wisdom one edition.
What do you mean?
Is that what you're saying?
The gold one.
Oh yeah, it's kind of the Echoes of Wisdom edition, but during the announcement they said it was an inspired from the Legend of Zelda. So it's not really Echoes of Wisdom, but yeah. I already pre-ordered it, so yeah, I'll have it.
All right. So let's welcome over to the podcast, Zach Attack Hendrick. What's up, Zach?
What up, everybody?
Your beard's getting bigger.
Yes,
it is.
I'm getting this thing trimmed tomorrow.
No.
Not gone, just trim, just angle.
I might as well do it the same,
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'll put like a Triforce over here, and then I'll put like Indie Mania 27 Days Away right here. It'll be a really small font.
Yeah.
Echoes of Wisdom 41 days.
Man. And so to get you involved in the conversation, we throughout the entire day, we went through a patent for the Nintendo Switch 2. We saw the internals, we saw controllers. Right now, we went over an article. We spoke about the price, and we spoke about the release time. So I'm going to ask you two questions. You can ask her both at the same time. The release time, we have article from an insider saying that it's coming the first half of 2025, and they see the system launching from April to July, right? July. And the other one is that they see the price point at under $499. Thoughts?
Okay. Without having gone through those internals with you guys, I'm gonna assume they're pretty beefy. If it's $499 or less, is a $200 leap from the original Switch. So I feel like you gotta do something impressive to justify almost doubling the price. Release window lines up. I think Bloomberg said they had some insiders that
the article comes from Bloomberg.
Oh, okay, so it's probably the same one. Or maybe it's an update to it. The only thing that I saw was it wasn't going to come out in this fiscal year.
Oh yeah, so, it was never going to come out in this fiscal year. They were going to announce it in this fiscal year. Yep. Then we have the reveal. I mean, we have the reveal trailer. Then we have the stage presentation, the big party, the big promotional thing where the pre-order actually goes into effect. Then we have the actual release day, and the release day has always been next fiscal year.
Yeah, and so I figure if you're saying first half of next year, and then outside of this fiscal year, that would be April through July. So I think that lines up pretty nicely with everything that we know. But yeah, so I guess I'll have a question for that. Did these specs say it was beefy at all? Like, where's this extra 200 coming from? I know it's less than $499. Technically, 300's less.
Yeah,
than $499.
basically, all three of us, Paul mentioned the option having a dock and one without a dock for a lower price, and then one into the 400s. Lilly said a good price will be $399, like a good sweet spot. I agree with the sweet spot, $399. And then later on for the OLED model, maybe $429 or $449 or whatever. But the price basically it's a very generic kind of thing they said in the article. It's expected to be less than $499, meaning it's not going to be as expensive as Xbox. But I think that's what they meant to say. It's not going to be a $500.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not going to be like a $500 system.
$498.
$498.99. Yeah, there you go.
Well, I do hope. Speaking of the dock, I think I've been parroting this on here since the first week I came. I would really love for the dock to function as like a external GPU, because handheld, there's only so much you can get handheld with a battery, you know? So like you don't need true 4K 120p handheld. That's going to die in 30 seconds and it's going to be 500 degrees hotter than the Steam Deck. So if we could have a beefy dock that once you put it in gets you on the home version on the TV a lot more performance, I think that'd be cool. I would be super down with that. And
ooh, that actually opens up maybe something what you said attached to what Paul said, and so by the way, there is a patent about a dock with a fan and a CPU and GPU within the dock. I'm guessing it's like maybe like a for power. But what if there is a dock without the GPU CPU for the $399, and if you want the better dock, the upgrade dock, the one that comes with the media hub in it, because there's also a dock with a media hub, meaning you can actually pick up the Nintendo Switch, and the dock itself will still be displaying something on the screen, like a little hub for your Netflix, your Hulu's, all that stuff. Not only that, but you can also stream your game to the hub, and that'll open the world for 3D for two-tier games like Nintendo DS, 3DS, and these games will come to NSO. So maybe if you want that capability, you pay $449, maybe $499. You know, if you want just the regular games, basic games, you won't be compatible to play DS games because you can't stream to your dock or whatever. Then you go for the lower tier. So maybe they can have two, like Paul said, two SKUs, a regular dock. Probably just like the dock we have now. They're probably going to put in one of those docks because they have extra from Switch, and then have a better dock so that you get better performance and extra features added to it. That's my own kind of way of looking at it, kind of combining what you said and what Paul said. Paul said one just the system and one with the dock. You said right? What did you say? You said like a beefier dock,
like a beefier dock.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, you guys
I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, they're all super awesome, views, and I think that Nintendo should watch this podcast so they can get some ideas.
Well, it reminds me to. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
You're the patent guy, you know, so you're always saying, what do you say about patents? That patents aren't facts, but they tell a story, I think is the quote that you say. Yeah. And so I'm assuming what you guys are talking about with this, the CPU, the GPU in a dock and a fan, that was part of like this newer patent that you guys are looking at.
Not the one from today. No, the one
but a newer one still.
Yeah. The patent with the GPU CPU came out last year.
Okay, because remember, before the Switch itself even came out, back when it was the NX, there was a patent for external GPU docks to beef up your system, which is why I've been preaching this forever. So the fact that there's this second patent, this newer one, shows they were thinking about it back in 2016. Yeah. And it shows they're still thinking about it back in 2023, 24. So, you know, that's like 7 years of thinking about this. So it shows it's like...
It's there.
It's really on their minds.
I think that when the Switch came out, they already have plans for Switch 2. So,
yep.
Yeah.
Nintendo get plans well ahead. Like when Switch came out, they were already on the way.
The forecasting.
Yeah. There was a vault, people inside a vault with no windows and like all that, dressing that, the hazmat suits all white and everything like that with little radios in the speakers because nobody can look at each other just in case nothing leaks. You know. So what are we gonna do for Switch 2? You're talking too loud. Somebody's gonna hear you. You know.
And someone did. I think it's very reasonable because especially because of PlayStation 5 and also Xbox, like you had two options, like the digital version or the physical version, right? But Nintendo's not gonna do that. I mean, it's not gonna go digital, I don't think, yet, because they already have the Nintendo Switch Online and they're kind of aiming towards, you know, getting subscriptions instead. And even though it's not as expensive as the other memberships out there, I feel like it's getting more accessible and more you know, it's giving you a lot of value for what you're paying. So yeah, I feel like that sounds like it could be the case. Like, do you want a very powerful dock or no? Like, if you don't have it, I mean, if you don't want it, you can get the regular one. There you go. Yeah. Everybody happy.
See, you know, I love Nintendo, but I think I love people more. You know, so I want everyone to have a Switch. I want everybody to overpay.
Yeah.
Okay. I want those people who. Remember running a channel, you hear from a lot of people. Like, I watch your channel. I remember one of my subscribers. I watch your channel, but I've never had a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
You know, I just watch it because I hope I have one day, but my family can't afford it. You know what I mean? And like those get to me. I gave out a Switch on live stream off the back just because I heard that story in the live stream, and people can testify to that. Like we had a subscriber. I don't want names. They know who they are, but I've been watching your channel for like over a year now. I don't have a Switch, and I always thought they had a Switch because they were so positive in the chat and just talking to everybody and interacting and everything. I'm like, you don't have a Switch? I got my light and I shipped it to them, you know, like in a box, like an additional one with Splatoon and everything. And so, because I want everybody to have a Switch, I want everybody to enjoy what we enjoy, right? It's easy to be a gamer that you are on top of everything, but man, I just want people to have to enjoy it too, and it just makes it better for everyone to do. So I hope if Nintendo does like what I hope they do is like they keep the $349 price and make that the base model for the base the model the price for the base model of the Nintendo Switch 2. And then for $399 for the other one, for the OLED one, and that's how they actually kind of go up. Man, I'm gonna love Nintendo so much. I'm gonna just like give them the biggest hug. I'm gonna go to headquarters. Come here for a while. Give me a hug, man.
You can hug
if you can get in.
I appreciate you.
I hug the building.
Yeah, you hug the building. I'll do it. Yeah, I'll hug the building. I'll go to the sign. I'll go to the sign. Like, you know what?
I hug the sign.
Yeah.
If we are going to have multiple SKUs, what would you guys want? Like 2 SKUs, 3 SKUs, and what price range? Like in your perfect world, Mike or Paul or Lily?
Okay, so my perfect world will be okay.
SKUs
one like Paul,
and their price.
Three SKUs. One like Paul said. One without a dock. Okay, and for you to be able to use a dock you already have, that'll save a lot of money for people. So that one SKU. The next SKU will be, of course, for a basic dock, and then the second SKU will be for a more beefier dock, so you can actually play and have more features to it. So those are 3 SKUs that I don't think Nintendo's going to do it, right? But I hope they don't mess with the stuff with oh, you can get one for 34 gigabytes for $349. If you want more gigabytes, you get a higher. No, just give everybody enough to install games. 249 gigabytes is pretty much is good, right? As a base model, and then just SD card, everything else. But I hope that this SKU is, if they give us more than one model, is not cutting away or taking anything away, but giving people an opportunity to save a buck and to enjoy the game. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, $300 at launch for a no dock version, $400 at launch for a new dock version. But you could still play it on old docks, but just without some functionality. And if anybody says, but then there's no incentive for people to buy these new docks. But the PGN dock, remember, doesn't have a face and is tilted back a smidge or magnetically attached. That way, it has the retail space of the screen being visible for extra functionality. So you don't get that. So there is incentive to get the new dock because it's 4K, it has the screen available on it, etc. So there's still incentive. But
it comes pre-installed, right? It comes with the Polygale Network app pre-installed.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
You know, like how the docks, like some of them have like the light up plates that you can put in, like the third party ones. There's one that it comes with the Polygale Network light up plate to the PGN.
PGN. Waiting, Lily.
I do agree with you, Mike and Paul. Like I can't really add anything. However, back in the day we used to have that kind of option to pump it up a little bit and pimp them a little bit, like just like with the faceplate that you mentioned. It's not official Nintendo, but that'll be nice if you can do that with your Switch. The other thing is that those kind of accessories, like if you don't want the whole thing, like just attach new things to it. Like if you want like a display that you can probably attach to it, or I feel like that's a possibility. Like for example, I've been seeing a lot of amazing products from Elgato, like the Stream Deck, and they added this LCD display on it, and you can dial and move things around. But they also came up with an actual thing that you can attach on the back to make it a USB hub on that same dock. And then you can, or if you don't want that, you can change that for an XLR adapter for you to connect your microphone. So something like that will be amazing. Like for you to be able to do something a little bit more with the dock, that'll be something great. But you don't have to spend like, I don't know, $4.99 for it. Of course, if you keep adding accessories, it might even go above that, but at least you do it at your own pace, and you do it at your own pace, and basically what you need, and covering those kind of basic necessities that you want to aim for. That'll be something nice. I agree now. So to recap, because I know people are joining in at every moment, welcome to the Nintopics podcast. You are here. It's Friday. We're talking about Nintendo Switch 2 price range and a lot of other really cool stuff. So recapping, Nintendo Switch 2 article went out by a really credible insider, mentioning that the Switch is coming out. The Switch 2 is coming out in the first half of next year. We all agree it's going to be revealed this year, just like Nintendo confirmed, but coming out in the beginning of next year. I agree with that. My guess is April, just like Lily. And Paul said April, right? You said April? Oh, May, March.
Yeah, okay. So around from
right in the middle.
Beginning of the year. And the other one was about the price range. We all agreed that $399 is a good price range, and also having options, right? To no dock versus cheaper dock versus beefier dock and stuff like that. So hopefully Nintendo listens to this podcast and can do some of the changes here. But with that Switch revealed any moment now, it's done. We're just kind of talking right now to kind of fill in the time until that Switch 2 reveal is in here, right? But with that, we have a segue over to the next big topic, and it's a bigger topic than we thought to, because it has to do with the upcoming Nintendo Direct. Did y'all know that there is a rumor out there that Nintendo might move the Nintendo Direct to August? And this comes from, I think it was Necro Felipe, same guy who actually mentioned the Nintendo Switch 2 delay. First person who mentioned the Nintendo Switch 2 delay, then everybody followed suit, right? And so then everybody followed. So the guy has some credibility behind. He knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows a cat neighbor to somebody else. So there is, you have to not listen. You can listen a little bit and kind of talk about it, because it's good for discussion. But why would you think Nintendo moved the Direct to August? Is that kind of like, it's intriguing if they're moving the Direct towards the end of August. they normally have it in the first 2 weeks of September anyway. So it's not that big of a move if they actually move to the end of August. It's just like a week or a week before. So it's not really a big difference. But that also kind of tells us like what could be the real reason they're moving that direct forward if this rumor is true. I personally think, and then I'll shoot it to you guys so you guys can let me know why. Trailer, the Switch 2 trailer. I think they might end the actual Nintendo Direct with an exact date on when we should expect that little trailer to drop or something regarding that. That we're having a special Nintendo Direct on so and so date in September, and then right there, boom, revealing the Nintendo Switch, making like one of those mini directs they did for Zelda. Remember how they did that mini direct, the mini direct for Zelda when they showed Aonuma did the gameplay, the gameplay to ease and calm a lot of people with the questions they had.
We do have something to show you.
Yeah,
here,
it's not
shut up.
Look at the sky. Exactly. So that's my personal opinion. I think I don't think they're moving the direct to August. This is my personal opinion. I think it's still September. And I think that the reveal could be in October or November. So, but still, if this rumor is true, Paul, why? Why, Paul? Talk to me, Paul.
I'm gonna tell you the answer last because I have to tell you the math first.
Of course. Yeah.
In the last.
All right, sit back, you guys.
Ready? If I was a math teacher, this is how you'd get people to like math because it would be stuff that is fun to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Instead of like, oh, 5 apples plus 5 apples, I'll be like, no, 64-bit plus 64-bit is 128-bit.
Hey,
anyways,
just like that teacher that started teaching physics with Tears of the Kingdom.
Right. In the last 12 Septembers, there has been a Nintendo Direct 9 out of 12 Septembers. So there's a 75% chance of it happening in September. To make odds better, the last 8 have had one for all 8. So if you think of more recent Nintendo, they're 8 for 8. If you think in totality, they're 9 for 12. So based off of history, which is always funny when someone on X says you can't use history to predict the future. I'm like, that's literally how analytics work.
Yeah.
We look at the past and then we think we have a good understanding of it. And then we look at the market now and then we make an educated guess.
No, sorry, Paul, you're wrong. You got to jump in a time machine and use next week's analytics to figure out what's happening.
That makes more sense.
So I'm on Team September. However, I do have an answer. You're getting it here on Mike Odyssey's podcast. A year ago, I told some friends while I was at Nintendo Live that Mike Odyssey and I are having an event called Indie Mania, September 12th, 13th, and 14th. And if I'm not mistaken, they said out of respect that they would have their Nintendo Direct at a different time to not go over our event or take attention away so that we could have 2 existing things simultaneously as a little bit of a mutual gratitude.
Well, shout out to Nintendo and thank you for making room for the event. But Paul, in 2020, do you want to count 2020 because 2020 was 2020, and in 2020 they did a direct mini.
They had 2
in October.
On September 3rd, they had the Super Mario Brothers 35th anniversary direct, and on September 17th they had the mini partner showcase. So they actually had 2 in 2020.
Yeah. So they had 2 in September.
Yeah. So September's it is their beefy month. They, like I said, 9 out of 12 Septembers. That's a lot.
Yeah.
When they haven't had it, they've had it close. Like in 2012, they had a mini in October, a regular one also in October. In 2013, a Pokemon one in September, a Wii Fit U one in September, but still something. In 2014, they had a Hyrule Warriors one in August, and then a Smash Bros. One in October. But then again, that was also a weaker Nintendo because the Wii U wasn't as powerful. But you look at the last 8.
Powerhouse.
So if you don't see a Nintendo Direct in September, and you may think I'm kidding, you may say, "Oh no, he's serious," but that conversation did happen at Nintendo Live in 2023 when I went up to Redmond, Washington, and I told folks about almost a year from this September 2nd that I'm here visiting Redmond, Washington. Mike Odyssey and I are putting on an event called Indie Mania. It's going to be September 12th, 13th, 14th, tentatively. Could be 2 days, 3 days, but that's what we're gearing for. Already reaching out to developers, talking with some people, setting up interviews, all that kind of stuff. So that was taken into consideration. Yeah.
Yeah, it started as a 1 day event, and then turned into a 2 day event, and then turned into a 3 day event, and then stopped. That's when we dropped the line because it's much work.
I think yesterday I DM'd Mike, or I texted Mike.
Oh yeah.
That like I was just scrolling back through our history of conversation and how happy we were. I think on September 3rd, if I texted you correctly,
Last year.
Like, look at that, man. September 3rd, 2023.
Yeah, we have 9 developers signed up. That's awesome.
We have 9. Wouldn't it be cool if we had 15 trailers, Mike? Yeah, I think like splitting it up on 2 days, 8 and 7, or maybe we get to like,
yeah, we're like
5 days,
6 trailers today and 2 tomorrow.
So
yeah.
I don't think I told you about my Nintendo story.
Yeah, and that was when we were still planning the channel Indie Mania. It wasn't Indie Mania worldwide as it is now. It was only the Mike Odyssey segment Indie Mania, not its own thing that it is now. But yeah, we are. What was the question again? The
Nintendo Direct.
Nintendo Direct. Okay, so yeah, Lily, thoughts? Do you see Nintendo doing a Direct in August? And if they do, let's say if it happens, what would be the reason they would move it for you? Even if you don't believe so, what would be a reason they could move it for you?
It has to be something very, very important for them to be doing that.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna say a teaser of the Legend of Zelda movie.
Okay, yeah.
That'd be nice for me. Yeah,
I can buy that for real. That'll be big too.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that'll be big. I mean, I can see that happening in the Direct too.
Yeah,
like at least them announcing the cast. Like Miyamoto takes the stage and Avita Rod next to him, and we have West Ball.
Yeah, at least them announcing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
they have been doing that with the Super Mario movie as well.
Yeah, we have a special announcement today. We said before we were working on the Legend of Zelda live action movie. Here's a cast and here's a release date. And
yeah,
so
they can easily just start with the camera panning into the pedestal of the Master Sword, and then you see like a fairy flying away.
That's it.
That's the way.
Yeah.
But
we're not gonna see anything of the movie until at least the announcement and the cast announcement.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But that being said, Nintendo did confirm that they're going to PAX. So they are going to have most likely Echoes of Wisdom there for them to try it out, because I'm pretty sure it's already done pretty much. So they did announce that they're going to be there. And PAX West is going to be on August 30th through September 2nd. So if they do something, like it could be before the event, like sort of, get the hype out there, because you want people to be showing up at their booth, right? That's one thing. And I don't really think that that's going to happen, to be honest with you. I feel like it's going to be more September. And also the reason for that is because they want to showcase more of Echoes of Wisdom. I feel that that's going to be like the biggest game for them, like the biggest IP for them, at least on September. So for me, because it's going to be released on the 26th, I feel like they could do it probably before that time frame, like before September It could be the first week of September or the second week of September before the release of Echoes of Wisdom. Again, to get people hyped about the game and stuff like that. That's why I don't really feel that they're gonna be going for August, and they'll definitely push for September instead.
Okay. Yeah, they'll keep their schedule. They've kept the entire schedule the entire year, so I don't see why they wouldn't change it. Zach, what do you think?
Yeah.
So what I actually think is just whatever Paul says because of numbers. But just to make it a little more fun, I'm going to say yes, they are going to push it to August. And the reason is just because this has kind of been Nintendo's year. Remember how the first half of the year, everyone was like, man, Nintendo's got nothing until the Switch 2 comes out. And then they dropped like the best direct ever. And there was still like more stuff coming out and being announced after that we weren't aware of. And so I don't know, I feel like Nintendo is kind of looking at their success, and they're looking at how the Mario movie even did better than their own expectations, and they're looking at just how everything has been going great, and they're like, you know what, let's move up our timeline a little bit. Let's scooch in a couple smaller games that were going to come out next year to this year. We were going to have a direct in September. Let's move it a little forward to August so we can maybe fit a mini later in the year that we were planning for 2025.
The showcase,
But yeah, that's my fun answer.
Yeah, they start Indie Mania, and then you know what? We gotta do any showcase. We gotta compete, and then you know the opposite of what Paul.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So with that, we got the rumor out of the way. Okay, so our next topic within the Nintendo Direct little thingy, topic number B, has to do with. All right, so let's say they do. They have games, guys. They have more games coming. All right, Nintendo's not done yet because we only have Donkey Kong confirmed for January. We still have February, March, April, May, June, and Nintendo Switch will be supported throughout the year. So that's Nintendo said, they themselves said it. They'll be supported throughout the year. Don't believe me? Look at how long the Wii U was supported with the online eShop and the online system. It just recently closed, and we're towards the end of the Nintendo Switch life cycle. So I expect the Nintendo Switch to be supported longer than the Wii U, just because of the 125 million people on it. You know what I mean? That transition period is going to take a longer while than the Wii U to the Switch. We only had 14 million people on the Switch, and then the user base on that, Paul, what was it? What was it? You remember? 5 people? 5,
the
6?
User base.
14 million people.
125 million active out of the 100.
For the Wii U.
On the Wii U, we had 14 million sold, and then the user base was like 5, 6.
Oh man, it was not good.
So
it was not good.
So the transition from Wii U to Switch was a lot faster than the Switch is going to be the Switch 2, just because we have 125 million people deciding whether should I jump right on it right away, should I wait. There are people that, you know what, let me wait, let them to get all the kinks out, let everything straight out, make sure it's available in stores. I can just go in the store and pick it up, and I'm not in a rush. There are people like that. There are those like us in the podcast who this. No, I'm gonna just. Where's my camping? Camping stuff.
Well, fun fact: I got my Switch on 2019. Actually, it's brand new. Because I was trying. First of all, I wasn't really thinking about buying it because I couldn't really afford it back then and stuff like that. Yeah. And I was trying to stay away from it because I knew that the moment I got one, if I was gonna get one, I was gonna be playing and buying more games and stuff like that. I was like, okay, I need to wait for a second. But this time, I'm not waiting. As soon as the Nintendo Switch 2 comes out, I'm getting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so with that, what was the question again? Hold up. Let me go back to the
games.
Yeah. Okay. Video games. Video games. So Nintendo has still video games coming out for Nintendo Switch, even though Nintendo Switch will be out. They will still get support. NSO is a big thing. NSO will continue to be on Nintendo Switch, just like on Switch 2. And this is what I think. And I'm sorry that if this is gonna hype you up, but I think Nintendo still has the best lineup of a Nintendo Direct to make that transition a lot easier. Like, for example, that wait time is not going to seem like a wait time when this Nintendo Direct is over, because let's say, it's June. Let's say it's July. Let's say the worst case scenario, further back, July, right? The end is more than half of the year. Half of the year is June and July. With that lineup, if they go ahead and put Metroid Prime 4 within that time frame from July, bringing it forward this way, and then they do release an Ocarina of Time remake, or they do a Twilight
I'm
Princess.
gonna lose it if that happens.
A Twilight Princess and a Wind Waker HD coming to Switch, and they just kind of go all out Metroid Prime 1 and 2. All these games, Animal Crossing New Leaf, the HD coming to Switch. They make a lineup as beautiful as that, with maybe another Mario Galaxy 2 HD coming to Nintendo Switch. That's the only Mario Galaxy that hasn't even been brought up, and so having that game there in the lineup, I think Nintendo is looking to make that wait sweet instead of having to make that wait kind of like, man, it's so far away. With that next lineup that Nintendo has for the first half of the year in this Nintendo Direct, I think we're gonna be happy, because they just started that. Who knew we're gonna get another Zelda game? Who knew? Nobody. Another Mario and Luigi from the first time on a big screen from the 3DS. Who knew? It's like Nintendo was just saving all this towards the end, because they know that we needed some games to keep us happy and entertained.
Oh boy!
On the wait, right? What do you guys think? How does this is the next question before we head into the Q&A? How do you see? Because this Nintendo Direct will determine the wait for Switch 2. This is the last Nintendo Direct, I believe, that will kind of begin the year. I know there should be one in February, but I don't think we're going to get that one. I think it's going to be the presentation for Switch 2 instead of that Nintendo Direct. Presentation will take the place of the Direct, and on stage, it's going to be like a Direct where they announce games for Switch 2 for the rest of the year. So how does this Direct look like to you, and what can Nintendo do to make that wait just sweeter? We'll start with that.
Awesome. So
he was about to raise his hand.
I was about to say, can I go first? Because I came up with a theory yesterday.
He read your mind.
And so I was just thinking about it yesterday. I was just thinking about the Switch 2, as one does, and I was just thinking about like other system transitions, and how when the Xbox 360 lineup went to the Xbox One lineup, because I feel like Xbox was ahead of the newer systems in the sense that they kind of stayed the same ecosystem forever. There was a big jump between PS2, PS3. There was a big jump between PS3, PS4. PS4, PS5 was like the first, like, oh, like you have the same online system. You have this. Xbox, like, yeah, you have Xbox Live across everything forever since the original Xbox. It's the same. And so I'm thinking about when specifically I was playing Destiny, but I know a bunch of other games were doing it. And they were like, hey, anything that you buy right now, you are going to get a free upgrade to the next gen version. Like you have this long to redeem it. Like you have to put the code in now. And I was just thinking about all of these remake/remasters that we've been waiting on. And I could see this kind of being able to tease the next system without giving us any actual info. But we go into this Nintendo Direct, right? And you get, I'm going to say Diddy Kong Racing because I say it every single week. But we get
Diddy Kong Racing!
Yes, the best. You get Diddy Kong Racing, you get Ocarina of Time Remaster, you get Mario Galaxy 2, like you were mentioning, Remaster. And they're talking about all of these games remasters and how you can play them on but also, if you buy them before like this fiscal year ends or whatever, you'll get a free upgrade to the 4K version for the Switch 2. And so that way they're able to like they're able to kind of like tease the Switch 2 before the official announcement. You know, it's like, oh hey, like here's all of these like upscales, but like what's the point of upscaling it to 1080 if another game system's going to come out in 3 months that can do 4K? And then it's like, man, I'm waiting for the upscale again. I'm waiting for Ocarina of Time HD again. Oh, I think, Paul, if you're talking, you're muted.
Yep, you are.
I was like...
Yeah.
Were you talking?
Yes.
Okay. I'm passing it to you.
To myself. No, you continue. I was talking to myself.
Oh, okay. I thought you were...
You were talking to us.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah. I thought you were like, well, actually, because of how sales have worked in the past with this,
Yeah.
I have. And I was like, ooh, better call Paul time. But no, yeah, so that's just kind of something I was just like, man, it would be so cool if we got all of these, like, things that they've been sitting on forever. Because people have been like, why are they sitting on Ocarina of Time HD? We've had it confirmed forever. Like, confirmed from, like, you know, the leakers and stuff. That, like, they've been sitting on it forever. It's like, oh, maybe they're sitting on it because, like, it's kind of like the perfect bridge, like, in between the systems. And so, like, I could just see this final Nintendo Direct for the Switch, which is technically the first one for the Switch 2, even though it's not, being, like, the retro Direct. The upscaled retro Direct. And so, and it could even, like, it'd be like Nintendo Direct and then, boom, upscaled. Like... But yeah, so that's what I would love to see. Is it realistic? No, but I think I made a good case for it.
It is. It's realistic.
And now it's time for Better Call Paul.
All right, we used to do this, like, this sign, it's supposed to be a phone, you guys.
Okay.
But you don't understand because it's now you use your phone like that.
No, they do now. We got all the foldables again.
Well, yeah, we kind of, but it's like this, right? Like you're grabbing your phone like this.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why you're calling, right?
No, I always thought it was like a banana.
Yeah. Like, hello? Better call Paul.
All right, go ahead, Paul.
Oh, dang. You never know what Nintendo's working on. I mean, y'all said it. Mario and Luigi Brothers ship out of nowhere. Zelda Echoes of Wisdom out of nowhere. Mario Party Jamboree. We kind of thought, maybe it's been a few years, maybe like another Mario Party, but even though it's scary in some ways to think it, if Nintendo Switch 2 comes out September or November, they could pull out Kid Icarus Uprising HD, easy moneymaker. They could do Yoshi's Woolly World from Wii U and then have another 3 million seller. They could do Xenoblade Chronicles X and then have another game that sells another 1.5 million. Might be difficult to port in some ways, but maybe not. You know, you could do Star Fox Zero, another game that hasn't gotten put over. Nintendo Land, a good amount of resources went into that, but probably that one stays behind unless if you rework it a lot, but it might not be worth their time necessarily. There's not a whole lot left over from Wii U that hasn't been brought over, but easy port of Yoshi's Woolly World and Star Fox Zero, but with some retooled controls, either could work. Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, fill it in there before Nintendo Switch 2 comes out, and a Kid Icarus. Like, those would be 5 new games. Technically, all of them are old, right?
Yeah.
Because Kid Icarus, Zelda, Star Fox, Yoshi, but it doesn't matter. For most people, all 5 would be brand new, even for Kid Icarus. And like Kid Icarus was on 3DS, which was a good selling system, but the game only sold a couple million. So that could be kind of like Zach was saying, like the remake, the port Nintendo Direct, and that wouldn't be bad. Yeah. And then you have a new awesome look. What am I at? 5? Zelda, Kid Icarus, Yoshi, Star Fox. Easy 5. A new look at Metroid Prime 4. Wow. A new look at Pokemon ZA, Legends ZA. That's 7.
Oh, yeah.
Something that we haven't seen any gameplay footage of. So 5 new games, for better or worse. Maybe throw in F-Zero GX, like easy. And like this is a little bit on the wishful thinking, unrealistic side. but it just shows how easy it is, how good of a position Nintendo is in right now, that most of these games would come out after the system had turned 8. In its 9th year, that means all these would come out. There was a time where, gosh, I would do anything to have 8 ports of Super Nintendo games up-resed on my N64, or 8 ports of N64 games up-resed on my GameCube. You know, towards the end of those old generations, dude, that would be a dream. And now just to get those all at once, awesome. That is if the system comes out later. If it comes out earlier, I think they actually hold on to some of them even longer, because I think at this point, you know, Wind Waker, we've waited longer from Wii U to now than GameCube to Wii U. So you might as well wait a little bit longer and release it as a dual release, that on Nintendo Switch 2, it fully optimizes that 4K, new textures maybe, or upgraded polygon models, and on Nintendo Switch, it basically looks like a little bit tightened up version of the Wii U build. Twilight Princess, maybe they put a little bit more into that, because they did receive some criticism that like, the textures didn't look all that great in this port, didn't translate enough. So maybe take a little bit more time, maybe not quite Zelda Tech Demo 2011 one. That would be amazing though.
Give it to me.
Maybe something in between-ish.
That's a big deal.
And that, if they went that far, that could be a launch game that's not like, you know how launch, I'm kind of going all over the place, but like, you know how I think there's a good amount of us that think a decent possibility for Nintendo Switch 2 at launch is to have like a 4K version of Breath of the Wild. You know what's also an awesome idea at launch would be to have E3 Tech Demo 2011 Zelda graphics in Twilight Princess. Wow, that would be amazing. But I don't know how likely that is. I think Ocarina is more due for a remake, but you have an HD modernized version of that. You just have to go wild on the textures and the lighting and the polygon models, but a lot of the work is already done for Twilight Princess having a souped up version. Anyways, the original question was, what do I think is at this Nintendo Direct? I think Metroid Prime 4, Pokemon Legends ZA are the safe bets, and a couple more surprises. At least one more game that's new or a wild remake remaster. So one new and or one wild port remaster, Metroid and Pokemon, and then maybe like a port or two that's expected. That's kind of my relatively safe prediction. And you know, if it's less, it's not a bad thing. I'm spoiled this generation. Like, you know, this is like, I made a tweet about it. Any past Nintendo console has ended in poverty for like that last year, as we wait for GameCube, as we wait for Wii, as we wait for Wii U, and not this time. So
yeah. But we can't also take away that we're expecting Nintendo Direct, but there's also a Pokemon Presents that could be around the corner, and it's always in August. Wait for August. Say again.
They just had at their presentation, see you Sunday for some more exciting news.
Where?
Oh boy, if I could find it. Pokemon news coming this Sunday.
Pokemon.
And the speculation is, dang, we're gonna have
movie.
Legend ZA. Yeah, let's see. I just found it.
It
was at the closing ceremony at the
Olympics.
The Honolulu 2024 Pokemon World Championships. At the end of the event, it was said, you know, see you Sunday for some significant news. I needed to know the state.
Okay.
So what could be significant coming this Sunday?
Yeah.
I think Legends ZA.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we get some kind of trailer release date and stuff. Be awesome. But yeah, Nintendo Direct. What would be a good way using the Nintendo Direct, Lily, to make the wait better, make the wait sweeter?
Definitely echoing what everybody has been saying. Metroid Prime 4. That's definitely one that they're going to be sticking to. The other thing for wait, so I guess I have a question, like for us to be patiently waiting for the announcement of the Switch 2,
Release.
patiently waiting for the release date.
No, but for the release, because normally the September Direct is to basically kick off the next year. Kicks off January, February, March, April, May.
Yeah. So for that, everybody has been saying like they don't really understand why they have not released Twilight Princess and the Wind Waker. And I feel that the main reason why is because they decided to wait a bit longer and to push it for the next generation. I feel like that's possible. I wouldn't say like a whole remake, but yeah, like something that will be thinking about the technology that we're going to have with the Nintendo Switch 2. I don't really think that they're going to be adding that to the Nintendo Switch Online because I don't really see coming. I mean, the GameCube making a return. The reason for that is because now they have been working on remastering and remaking a lot of their older games. So it makes sense for people to be completely migrating all the way up to the Nintendo Switch without any issues. So if they do release something for me to be waiting, I'll definitely be patiently waiting if they do announce something that has to do with either Wind Waker or Twilight Princess. For me, Wind Waker it's one of my favorites. But I do understand that the entire they weren't really a fan of the look of it, and I know that there's more people aiming more towards Twilight Princess. So I get it, I understand it why. But they could potentially be leaning to Twilight Princess. Now that being said, if they're going to be releasing the Nintendo Switch next year, that means new Mario game. So if they do either announce something that's, in the works, currently in development, just like they did with Tears of the Kingdom. They just gave us a very ambiguous trailer saying Breath of the Wild 2 is now in development, and everybody went crazy, right? So something like that will definitely make the wait worth for me. And then the other games that, of course, they are going to be releasing more and more bits and pieces here and there, so you can get very excited for the new release. The other thing I do agree with Zach, it'll be great if they can manage to offer like, hey, you can get the Nintendo Switch version, but you can also upgrade to the Nintendo Switch 2 version. That'll be a great way of, again, trying to migrate everybody from the older consoles to the newer console. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. That's a really good insight. We got Justin, Basil. Right? Right? Okay. Final price prediction: 59,060 yen. 0.62 cents yen, which is basically almost 400 bucks. 300 yen. 300, which is basically
$400.04.
Yeah. So, yeah, basically it's the same. It's a funny chat. Thank you so much for that one.
Thank you.
First time I saw it without me saying the yen, I'm like, how many switches is that?
Right.
Yeah.
Also, right. I did not do that conversion in my head. When Lily was talking, I looked it up.
Me too. I looked it up too. Like, I looked it up.
Hey, you're fast. You guys are fast.
That's Paul, I would believe, but me or Mike.
Not me either.
All right, so quick recap throughout the podcast before we go into the Q&A. We got about 16 questions in line for the Q&A. That's the most questions we've ever had.
Oh, wow.
16 questions before the Q&A starts. we are gonna. I want to go to recap, guys. Look, I want to go ahead. Wait, this is not the. That is not the. This is the yen, the yen page. All right, so recap. How do I? No, that's me.
As Mike
There you
searches
go.
the recap, if you're watching on
there you
YouTube, X, or wherever, can you hit that like button if you're
Yes,
having a good time?
please.
Thank you.
Yeah, that'd be great. So recap from Nintendo Direct to now. We spoke about the Nintendo Direct possibly in August. Nobody agrees, but if they do, it's probably because of the Nintendo Switch 2 trailer launching. Best case scenario is they release a whole bunch of ports until then. And going
A
back,
whole bunch of ports, yeah.
going back, we talked about this patent right here that talks about the Pro Controller having these mechanics: front roll jump, back roll blubber, cartwheels, forward roll jump, back roll. We agreed that this could actually apply to Mario, Zelda, to Donkey Kong, to what else? What was the other guy?
Did he?
Emu.
Video.
Emio.
Put the
Okay.
paper back off. Put the paper
Emilio.
back on.
Emio.
Up.
Yeah, and this is a patent for the actual Pro Controller of the Nintendo Switch 2. We can see here the new mechanics for the controller. This is the actual one side of the joystick, because it'll not have two joysticks like it has now. It'll have one that looks like a joystick, but it also have a button right in the middle, and then the other one will look just like this, and from the top will look like this. As you can see here, it moves front, back, left, right. You can push it down, and you can tilt it just like this, which would cause this motion, the forward roll, backwards roll, cartwheel, front roll jump, and back roll jump, and cartwheel jump, which is another way of saying
To the right.
a flip
To the
That's
left.
interesting.
Everybody.
flop,
That's
flip,
really interesting. So
flippity flop. And so the other patent which opened the show, for those of you who came late, I want to make sure you guys get all the information, is the Switch 2 right here, my friends. We got here two slots instead of one. Okay, so now this could be two slots individually, one for Switch 2, or this could be two slots still, but physically you would only see one. The Nintendo Switch 2 one, which we can also put the Nintendo Switch cartridge in, and then the Switch 2 slot would not be present on the Switch, so you can't put your Switch 2 cartridge in your Nintendo Switch. And so this is two slots here, kind of confirming backwards compatibility. The magnetic Joy-Cons are right here, magnetic force sensor, which confirms that magnetic thingy, the snap, Nintendo Switch snap, is snapping. And so
Snapping. Snap.
and so I said and snow and magnetic force snap sensor. If you don't know what this is the actual center of the Switch. You see left side terminal, right side terminal. Pretend you're putting a Joy-Con here and a Joy-Con here. Okay.
Hey.
CPU. We also have now a cooling fan and a temperature sensor, because the CPU here is a lot more powerful. It needs a cooling fan. It needs a temperature sensor. And then the ambient light. I mentioned to you that the iPhone also has ambient light. I'm familiar with the technology. And what it does is that it automatically adjusts your brightness in order to make you look better on the screen. So if you're outside, the screen becomes brighter. If you're inside, it becomes dimmer, to not make your eyes strain. So this is a good thing. If it happens, it'll be involved in the Switch. One thing that we confirm can happen is the magnetic thumb, because it's already been rumored out there, right? It was leaked by manufacturers about magnetic whatever, and then the backwards compatibility. Everything else could be there or could not be. We don't know that, because this is the first time we got to actually see it. And and that's basically it. This is the first Nintendo Switch patent. For those of you who want to see what the old Nintendo Switch patent looks like, just for comparison reasons, there you have it. It's very, very simple. It's only one slot right here. You see this entire empty space here because, the Nintendo Switch is an airhead. And so we got the processor, we got the power control, battery button, and the RAM circuit. You can see here, right terminal, left terminal. This is the basic model that I've seen in over 50 patents that I've seen all the Nintendo Switch online, and this is everything it says compared to the Boom. This one, magnetic force, ambient light, temperature sensor, cooling fan, power control, and all the goodies. Even the sound volume is different from this one, from the other one. You see, right here. So it's all very very different and very, very spicy. That is the recap. I hope you guys enjoyed the recap of the podcast. It's now time to enter into the Q&A, which now we have 15 questions.
I want to make one quick note. I'm not going to jump into this whole thing since I wasn't here. But for the joystick thing, look up 3D Connection Space Mouse when you have time. I use it for animation and 3D modeling. People use them in flight games, but it's very similar to that new looking joystick. It has all these degrees of freedom that you can play with and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so if you want to see a little bit about how that might work, look that up in your spare time because the mechanics are the same.
I'm calling it new 3D DK launch title. I'm with the Mark Brawler. $2. Thank you so much for that super chat. You're awesome. And that'll be fantastic. That'll be awesome. That would be super. Okay, now on to the Q&A. First question in the chat. Who wants to go ahead and highlight it? Whoever has highlighted. I don't know who has highlight. There.
I can go with the first one.
Bradley Taylor, I think it is.
Yes.
Okay.
So we have Bradley Taylor. Thank you very much for your question. Hi, you three. We were three, not anymore. What date do you think a Nintendo Direct will happen? Date? Specific date?
I'll give you a specific date. I'm good at that.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So specific date for the Nintendo Direct, it will be on. It can't be the September the 11th because that's like the day before Indiemania. Be awesome because it'll be 4 days of game show.
Great news, of course.
People like, wait a minute, there's a Nintendo Direct, and tomorrow we have Indiemania. What an amazing weekend this is gonna be, you know?
Yep, for sure.
And then we lost Paul. So
no, Paul.
He's calling his friends at Nintendo to make sure.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be the week of the 18th.
Of the 18th.
Yeah,
okay.
Week of the 18th. I'm gonna say specifically the 18th.
Paul's back.
For a while, I was like, "Is it just me? It's just me." You don't like
said
Frozen.
the 18th, Mike?
Huh? I said the 18th. Yeah.
18. Okay.
Wednesday. Anybody else wanna pick a date?
I'll go with. I moved it to August earlier, even though I still think it's September. So I'm gonna go with August 31st.
Wow, that'll be like the well, we had a July 30 for Splatoon somewhere in the past. I can't remember, or was it Bayonetta? Something in the past. I can't remember. I know it was towards the end of the month, and it was like the nobody predicted that. It was just happened. So it can happen. Yeah, out of nowhere.
My logic behind that is literally that's as close to September as I could get.
Yeah. All right, Paul, what do you think?
What was the question? Because I was out.
What day do you think? What date do you think the Nintendo Direct will be?
Gosh. If it's September the 10th or 11th, right before Indiemania. But, if they really did take into consideration when I spoke to them in Redmond, Washington about our event and stuff like that, then I could see them bumping it up to August 29th.
August 29th.
August 29th. Okay. Yeah, that's a good. How about you, Lily?
I'm gonna say the same week as you.
Hey, is it Mario?
Oh, this is Peach. Right, Peach.
I knew it was a character, so I just mentioned what.
I'm gonna say the same week as you did, but I'm gonna go with Friday.
Okay.
Friday, September.
Wow, it'll be the first Nintendo Direct on Friday ever.
Wasn't September 23 a Direct?
When?
It was this on the 15, was it? 14. Okay. So that was. Well, I can go with one day after you. So not Wednesday, but Thursday.
Okay.
So I do agree with that week, though. Like,
Okay.
I feel like that's going to be the week.
All right, so we got Lego Vader. I like that name, Lego Vader. It's like a lot. Well, it is a Lego Vader on the little.
Aw, so cute.
Lego Vader fan 2011. And that's the best version of Lego of Vader. You know, Lego Vader. Do you think Diddy Kong Racing for Mr. Zach here? Racing should be a DLC to Mario Kart. Be awesome, right? I don't know if that sounds bad. It doesn't sound bad. It sounds like a really good idea to bring him back. If they were to cancel the entire thing, if at the very least make it a track into Mario Kart and have the Diddy Kong track or whatever and bring the characters into the game. So what do you think, Zach? This is
my baby. This is my moment.
Expertise.
Every week I bring it up, waiting for somebody to. No, I'm just kidding. I would love that if they did it right. I mean, if I can't get a full game, because obviously if I can get more, I want more. But if they did it right and it wasn't just a DLC with like, here's the characters and a couple new levels, but like we now have planes in Mario Kart and we now have upgradable items. You have a mushroom, you get a second mushroom, now you get the triple shroom. If you get another mushroom when you're driving, now it's the super shroom. Upgradable items, that was one of the things that made Diddy Kong great, but then also the different vehicles. But Mario Kart's already got the base infrastructure, so if they wanted to add that stuff, I would be so hype, and I wouldn't refer to it as Mario Kart anymore. I would refer to it as Mario. I'm like, this is Diddy Kong Racing Mario version. Like
Mario's psychic now.
that would be pure hype.
All right. Well, next question. Lily has a question. All right. My dream Nintendo Switch 2 announcement. You mean like around what time?
No, I did not highlight that one, but I did answer a question. No, that wasn't my highlight.
I did it.
Okay, I got it.
I highlighted everything with the question mark because I can't see.
Yeah, no worries, it's fine. So one of the someone in the chat was asking for the Dream Nintendo Switch announcement or something, but I'm like, but what do you mean? Like, are you talking about like the announcement for what's it's gonna do, and then he said, oh no, about a Dream announcement, and then I straight up said Ocarina of Time remake. That's it. But getting back to the questions, Chris, thank you very much for the question. What price would be good? Start to increase the stock price? He's
Do you know you're muted? I can't tell if this is a joke.
He's joking.
I was muted.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, because I was like, this is either a joke about how you're not giving financial advice, or
Listen, I took a vitamin, right, and I was chewing, so I put it on mute so I don't even hear like the chewing. That's not me myself. Anyway, so it's not financial advice, like Zach said, but I see the stock. I own stocks on Nintendo. I see the stock going up if Nintendo is smart and leaves the system at a good enough price point where families can get more than one system. If there's a brother and sister, they both want a system. They each can get one and play handheld mode on in the back seat and have their own system for the holidays. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking about the family. I came from a family of 5. I have a big sister and 3 younger brothers. We were 5. Plus my parents are 7. Holiday season for us was this. We went on layaway shopping in August. We got to pick all our gifts. That was like a tradition. We went to Kmart at the time, and we would pick our toys and layaway just because we were a big family. Mm-hmm. So I can imagine now, big families. I hope I want everybody to have one. So I would say, you know what, $399 will be a good price point. I hope they do keep it at the $349 for the base model, $399 for an upgraded model, or even what Paul said, $349 just the system, because they have a dock already. They can buy a secondhand dock, whatever. But just for the console, $349, $399 with the dock, and then when the OLED model comes up, the $449 at that point, right? But in that price range, I think it'll be a good sweet spot for people to get in, especially if they do what Paul said. If they do that without the dock, they're gonna sell a lot more systems, and then that will allow the stock prices to go up, and I make more money because I own stock. So that's like you know, it's not an advice. It's just it's an observation.
It's not financial advice to the audience, but it's financial advice to Nintendo.
Yeah, but
it's giving Nintendo advice for your finances.
Yeah, but it's good to buy stocks. It's good to invest. Just be smart, do your research, and invest wisely.
Yep.
Don't buy crypto.
All right.
I made money with crypto, but don't buy it.
Mike said it.
Don't buy it. All right. What's the next question?
Let's see what we got next.
Lego.
I'll answer it again. Diddy Kong time.
I'm getting rid of some of the questions because they're not really questions specifically for the entire team. But
does anyone want new Nintendo Switch 2 micro SD card? Yeah. Oh, I mean like have, instead of having the full size SD card, go to micro. You know what I want? I want the Nintendo Switch 2 to be able to take M.2 drives, the portable ones, the one that comes like they're like a little square, and you can just insert it, right? And M.2 drives is just worlds of speed, instant speed. It's what the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X have internally, which you can also upgrade. Like their systems, you can open them up and add your. It has an extra slot, so you can add more space to it. So I hope Nintendo gives us the capability because as these cards are kind of, you know, they can only go so far, and they're aging already. You know, for as much as we use them for film and stuff like that. But right now, we have a I was at a place where they had on one of those Ari cameras, the big giant 8K camera, and they had they had an M.2 slot with an adapter. They hooked it up to the back of the system, and that's how they recorded their footage. It's faster. It's it's safer, I think, and
you literally can't record certain codecs without it.
Yeah,
because there's no compression and whatnot.
Yeah,
that's like if on even my Blackmagic 4K that I used to have, which is way cheaper than the Ari.
Oh yeah.
If I wanted to record full resolution, I would have to use a CFast card because an SD card or even a hard drive wasn't able to handle it. And so but the faster those speeds are, unrelated to cameras, the faster they can be read in the system, which would mean smaller load times and other stuff like that. And
then you see the adapters that PS5 and Xbox One X have for extra storage. The external one that you hook up to the back of the they're not SD cards, they're higher technology. So hopefully Nintendo also at least they're oh, by the way, I wanted to add this. I forgot when Donkey Kong mug. Oh, that's a Zelda mug, right? That's a Zelda mug.
Now it's a Coke bottle. She's a magician.
Yeah, there you go. When Lilly was talking about the Steam Deck, the Switch 2 is apparently more powerful than the Steam Deck, and not only that, but Nintendo is the king of mobile gaming. They've been doing it since the 80s. Nobody has done it better than them. They've tried, it failed. And only Nintendo knows how to perfect that form factor without having to overheat. I, as an owner of a Steam Deck for a while, man, it's good luck, people who like Steam Deck. I don't bash it, but I bash the one I own, and that's the one I only buy. That's it. But Nintendo is just the easiest handheld system to play. You put the game in, it'll automatically load. Every game on the eShop is compatible. You go on Steam Deck on the Steam Deck, and not every game is compatible for some reason, but it's there. just to smile at you or laugh at your face. It's just there. But yeah, Nintendo is better. Next question. Natty says, "What would the wise Princess Zelda do?" I don't know. She would save money. She would stay in school. She would be good to her parents. She would mow her lawn, take out the trash. She would tip Link every now and then. What else she would do? She will wisely use her wisdom for wise things, such as giving advice or something. And that's what. Yeah.
There you go.
Chris Muller, beginning of next fiscal year? Yes.
Yeah, easy question.
Netweed09 says questions, and are those two arrows up? They're eyes, right? They're eyes. Are they supposed to be eyes? Like little eyes, smiley eyes?
Probably.
Quite a few. First, predicted launch console colorways.
Will they go with the gray or the red blue again?
I think they're gonna go black. Will they go with gray, the red blue again? I think they will have a red base one for likely Mario launch. I don't think the first system will be an edition one. I think the first system will be their base model one. They went with an all gray one like the Nintendo Switch, right? The one that was on the first trailer was the all gray one at the beginning of the trailer. It wasn't the color one. That then they launched the color one. I think that the color one was announced in the presentation, right, Paul? Paul has a mind of an elephant, and so.
I just laughing because Mike said that, and I'm like, somewhere out there, maybe someone's like AI image generate Paul and elephant, and it just made me think of like Mario, Elephant Mario, but Elephant Paul. That's why I laughed.
Wowie
Wowie zowie.
Exactly.
Anyway, yeah, I say not gray. I say either black or white.
Ooh. What about both?
Black and white?
No, like you can get the icy white edition or the just
black and white
obsidian black edition.
It's black, dude. It's like what color is this black? Oh, that's obsidian. What color is this black? Oh, that's Louis Vuitton.
I'm gonna go as well with black and white because they already have the OLED white, and that looks a bit more stylish if you ask me. But it's more
looks more pro,
personal.
Even though I'm not a big fan of flooding the market with too many things at once, and like I'm only limiting it to 2 SKUs, you know what I mean? But in this case, if Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is this co-launch simultaneous Nintendo Switch 2 game, like 2 different SKUs, not just, it upgrades when you play it on that and unlocks a higher frame rate, but like, no, 2 SKUs, it's different. I am a fan of not just having like the OLED model was kind of geared towards ME, of Metroid Dread, but like release, here's your base Nintendo Switch, and we have so much freaking confidence in Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. We don't want this to be a 4 million seller, 5.5 million seller. We want this to be the Breath of the Wild moment for Metroid. We want this to be a 15 million selling powerhouse. You make a bold statement like at launch, you have the base Nintendo Switch 2 jet black or ivory white or something like that, and then you have an actual Metroid Prime 4 Beyond model that is for that's got the morph ball, that's got some cool Samus Aran font on it, and like it just says, bam, we have so much confidence in this game that it's going to be one of the games of the generation, a true defining moment that you come out of the gate swinging with that, because it's that good. And I'm usually not on that side, but this game has such a history behind it and so much development that I think it would make sense. Like, could you imagine back in 2017, before we knew just how epic Breath of the Wild was going to be, that there was going to be a Gray dock and a Breath of the Wild dock? That was a genre-defining game that has sold 37 million copies. Like, it has affected a lot of people very powerfully. If there was a Breath of the Wild dock back then, I think a lot of people would have bought it, or in retrospect said, I wish I had that. That game became one of my favorites of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So for that reason, I'm on like, dude, yeah, give me a jet black, a pristine white, even though white gets kind of dirty in portable mode, whatever. But yeah, I have a Metroid version.
I'm listening to Paul say jet black and this white. I'm thinking to myself with going to Home Depot, and my wife was like, what should we get? Should we get that white or that pearl white? I'm like, it's all white. I don't see it.
I don't see a distinction at all.
It's like eggshell white and coconut white.
That's pearl white. Look, that's pearl white, and this is eggshell white, and that white right there is like,
oh yeah,
what? Like what? It's just so white. I want it. So yeah, I agree. Next one is
real quick before we go to the next one. I have another little collectible. I always like to whip them out when they're relevant to the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Paul, you were talking about how white switches can get a little dirty. Nintendo has got you answered for that. I don't know if you see this. It's got like the lanyard clip, and then the top just pops right off, and there's a little spray. So when the Nintendo Switch first released, Nintendo, anywhere that they were bringing the systems on tour before it was even out and like you could see it, they would give their staff these little Nintendo branded cleaning sprays that they would wear on their lanyard. And as soon as somebody was done playing, they would have to run over and spray the Switch and clean it.
I think I thought it was at E3.
Yeah, so the white switch could launch with a Nintendo Switch cleaning spray, and then you're good.
It's supposed to be. It's not water, guys. It's some electronic solution.
It's not. Also, what was that? There was this person who cleaned the Tears of the Kingdom Switch, and it wiped the entire design away.
Alcohol. Yeah, they rubbed it. Alcohol. Yeah, I think it was Switch Force.
Yeah. Oh, don't do that, please. Don't do that.
Another good point, kind of on there, real quick.
Yeah.
I think a totally different color works because then it differentiates. Oh, what is that? Oh, is that a Switch? No, it's something different. I haven't seen that color or that form factors a little bit, and like a Metroid one, no one will have seen that before.
Listen. RGB.
If it's white, don't tell me it's white or eggshell white or obsidian neck black or I don't care. It's just black. It's yellow.
Collector's edition of Metroid Prime 4. You know how like the Halo Collector's Edition comes with the Chief's helmet and like the Gears Edition comes with the Gears helmets? The Collector's Edition of Metroid Prime 4 comes with the new Switch, and Samus's head is the dock, and you put it in, and when you drop the Switch in the top, the visor lights up and glows green.
Oh my god.
And then when you put the visor on your head, you play as
VR.
Samus Aran.
All right, the next question is Nintendo losing money? No, they're not. What do you think about Switch 2 Online? It's great. It's not even there yet, but I believe it's going to be better than Switch 1. Also, I think they're going to build it from the ground up, look better, play better interface, better compatibility with Nintendo Switch Online. Hopefully,
you'll still need to get the Nintendo Switch Online. Sorry.
Hopefully, you got the 10 gigabit outlet so that we can get higher speeds or even more. That way we can play a lot faster and stream whatever.
They have a 10-year partnership with Microsoft.
So everything is looking good for Nintendo. Let's go ahead and continue to the next question. We have our super chat coming up, and thank you, Shalil Bafil. Is that the real? Did I say it? Did I say it right? Shalil. Wait, can somebody read it for me, please? Because I don't know.
Shalil Bafil.
Okay.
Yes, that's what it says. You got it right.
Okay. So thank you so much for your super chat.
That's
I appreciate you so much. Didn't see a question there. If you want, you can go ahead and ask your question. We'll highlight it anyway. Okay.
And if you didn't have a question, well, thanks for
thank you
just
so much.
deciding to give a super chat without
Appreciate
even
it.
having a question.
Yeah, we got Lego Invader again, but did we already get this one?
Yes, we
Yeah.
did.
Okay. We got 10,000 noodles. Quest 64 is Glorious AG. Anyone? Yes. And we got here, it wasn't 84. Then who was it? ID like ID? Oh, I do. I'd like I'm sorry. I'd like to see Sony step in, and I'm sure when they see how Nintendo eats the market, PSP 2026, hopefully.
Oh.
I mean, if they do give us a new PSP, is only better for the gaming community, and better competition just brings better systems towards us. So I hope they do a PSP, and I hope they really are successful at it too, because I like PlayStation. I got my PS5 and I like PlayStation. So yeah. Wink the Man 07. we got you like
Wink the Man.
Wink the Man. So Indie Mania. Oh, Indie Mania.
You're reading your name right now.
Do you think that
It shouldn't have been that funny.
do you think they'd end the September Direct with "Please join us October, insert the date for a special presentation"? Oh yeah, that is very.
Ooh,
I like that a lot.
yeah.
Yeah, that is very, very possible. Very possible.
Yeah,
That'll be
I
awesome.
agree.
That'll be
Totally. That's
super
a
awesome.
great suggestion. Yeah.
Yeah, if they do that,
Oh, that just blows the roof off the internet.
Brains.
yeah.
I'll add one thing to that. The Direct's like about to end. It goes to black for a split second, and then you just see like the silhouette of like what's clearly a system in a dock, and
Yep.
then they come on and say, "Please join us on this date for."
Can I brighten up that image? Will it work?
Really counting the days.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
that would be incredible. Okay, let's see here. Oh, we have another question here.
Yeah, this one
Chris
was
Muller, will new Call of Duty movement be developed for new Switch 2 controller sticks? Yes, because
I
the new Call of Duty game
Mhm.
will launch on Nintendo Switch, although it comes out in October 20 something. It'll be a launch title for Nintendo Switch. So yeah, Nintendo's 10-year deal starts with Nintendo Switch 2, and I am pretty sure that I think that even though those joysticks look pretty weird, I think they have the basic
very
movements.
intuitive.
Yeah, they have basic movements, left, right, like they got triggers. Call of Duty, all you need is a joystick and a trigger. That's it.
I think specifically what they're asking is if we think it'll just play like a regular Call of Duty on there, or if that the new stuff you can do with the stick, if it'll take advantage of it in the game itself.
It will play like a regular Call of Duty. And this coming from Phil Spencer saying that Call of Duty will launch to all consoles the same exact way through every platform, not taking away anything or adding anything. Everybody will get the same exact experience throughout the entire, because if that were the case, then we would get a different experience than everybody else who has like the PS5. This looks like an Xbox controller because it has
It really does.
So it's the same experience throughout the entire industry for Call of Duty. So I my guess is you can play it, it'll work the same. The extra stuff that the new controller has or might not have, because we see in the patent we might just get a regular Pro controller.
Yeah.
It's not going to affect the experience. It's not going to enhance or affect the experience in any way.
And also, I feel like Nintendo has learned their lesson. Like, let me put into perspective Skyward Sword. Like, they were trying to push, the full potential of the Wii, but it ended up being so late that people, never actually played it. And then it wasn't until the HD that they started to play it. And now you can play with the controller, or you can play, with the motion controls. And I personally don't like the motion controls, and I really enjoy the fact that you can turn it off. So that being said, having not being forced to try out the new features, I will feel that's perfect, because you can aim for a wider, and better, a bigger market. In other words, right? So yeah, I'm totally voting for that. Yeah.
All right, that's a good answer. We got Lego Vader with another question.
Oh.
Wait? Is this the same question?
I think we saw this.
Yeah, that's the same question. He sent it again.
You sent it again?
No, I did not. No, it was recently typed. Yeah.
Now, what do you say about Switch 2 Online? So Switch 2 Online will come when Switch 2 comes out, and hopefully Nintendo brings up. I expect Nintendo Switch 2 Online to be a better version of Nintendo Switch 2. Nintendo Switch Online. I think Nintendo Switch 2 Online, which is a good name for the NSO2, hopefully it brings other things into the realm. There was a patent that spoke about Nintendo having its own interface and its own streaming service for TV shows and movies within the NSO part. So I hope if Nintendo does upgrade NSO, it involves not only video games, but also maybe their movies, if they come upcoming movies, TV shows that they can develop directly for the platform. Of course, we have the DLCs. I hope that NSO also brings skins for your Nintendo Switch, digital skins, so you can actually update your home screen, right? I hope they also have
theme music, please.
Yeah, music, and also music. Like you can have a jukebox with all the music from first-party games. Third-party games could decide whether they want to add to NSO or not. But themes, music, TV shows directly for NSO. We got the video games, we got the DLC. There's so many ways they could make NSO better on Nintendo Switch 2, and hopefully they use it all, because I want it all. In regards to price point, they might raise it, they might not. Hopefully not, and then we'll see. We'll get to see. But I hope that answers your question, right? I hope that answers the question about what Nintendo Switch 2 thingamajig. All right, so I guess that is it for question. Wait, there's 2 more stars there.
No, I think they're the same. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we already answered both.
Well, Mario's back on your couch or on your chair.
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah, he's back.
He wasn't there last week or the week before. But
we missed him.
Yeah, I think my wife sat there at one point, and then I found them behind the couch. Like, what? How dare you?
Story, Mike.
Yeah. So, so yeah. All right, guys. So basically, I've concluded the section of the Q&A. You guys have had such amazing questions about the show. It works so much better when we have questions throughout the show and we can highlight them, and then at the end just answer them all together. It works so much better. So I like that little update there. All right, my friends. Before we say goodbye, I need to introduce and reintroduce our all-star cast, the people who make this podcast possible. But before I do that, I want to issue a huge shout out to our Joycey J from
Joycey, we miss you. Be safe on your trip.
Yeah, she's on her way to Hyrule right now. I think she's doing some errand for Zelda. Yep. I think she's sewing her dress and doing some like her nails and all that stuff. So she is Zelda's mama / correspondent. So taking care of business. So Joy CJ, we send out our love and we miss you. See you next week. And before that, I'll introduce Zach Attack. Zach Attack, what do you got going on and where can we find you?
You can find me here every Friday at the Mike I always call it the Mike Odyssey show at the end. I know it's the Nintopics podcast the rest of the week, but every time I get here, let's try that again. Zach, where can we find you? You can find me here every Friday on the, I almost said it again, on the Nintopics podcast. Also, too, I do live stream a bit. My schedule lately got a little bit more chaotic with random flooding and gear breaking and stuff. And so I got my TV replaced because that broke at the same time, and I'm getting a new monitor. But so once I get my full setup back up and running, I will be streaming on YouTube at Zach Hendricks Media. And you can find me on Twix, Twitter, X, whichever one you call it, the artist formerly known as Twitter, at Young Calf Zach. Also, to today, unrelated, but I didn't get to say this in the intro because I was dealing with some flooding. Today was my 365-day streak in Japanese on Duolingo. So,
Ooh, awesome.
365.
Konnichiwa.
1 year.
Nice. Wonderful.
Konnichiwa.
That's awesome.
Konnichiwa, arigato gozaimasu.
Yeah, arigatou gozaimasu.
All right, and I'm gonna shoot it up to Paul Gill Network. Paul, what do you got going on? Since PGN says that Indie Mania is only 27 days away. So what do you got? What do you got going on this week, Dr. Paul Gill Network?
Gosh, over on X, I've been just having a blast sharing data, numbers, projections, thoughts, hopes, dreams on all things Nintendo. So follow me for that. There are no Famitsu sales this week because it's Obon week, Obon Festival in Japan. So next week we'll get 2 weeks worth of data, which will look bigger than it is because it's representing 2 weeks. And then on YouTube, I did a couple of fun like Zelda pool videos. What does the final thing look like? Comparing the Mario pool, the Zelda pool together side by side. And then this is new. I'm not going to say who, but Mike probably could figure it out. So sometimes there's a side conversation going on over on my emails during the show, and I just got one of the indie developers that I originally reached out to a year ago that we were hoping, a certain big one, who has now, during this podcast, signed up for the show.
Oh.
Nice!
It was
and they have a
Joycey.
trailer.
I think you planned that. I think you planned the freeze.
It was like a perfect time.
And they have a trailer. They're going to give us a trailer.
And that's his face.
A new trailer.
Who wants to go next? Well, he finished. Oh, well, wait. Is
Wait,
it?
it really froze?
Yeah. Like
You're not kidding.
you just came back right now.
Oh, what did you miss?
Everything.
He's just kidding. No worries.
No, it froze for me.
Oh, not for me.
Not
What?
for us.
Well,
Ah.
I
Why
missed
didn't you hear the big news?
I missed the entire thing. Like,
Oh my
Okay.
god, no.
Oh,
So he-
that's so freaking funny.
You two, hold on. You two are telling the truth, and Mike is telling the truth too.
Mike,
Yeah,
this is hype
he
for
is.
you. This is
Oh,
hype
yeah.
for you.
Oh,
You
he
missed
is,
something
because-
cool.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, thank you everybody. Have a one. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll paraphrase ish
Yes,
what
yes.
I just told. Apparently, Zach.
as long as
Now I get to watch Mike while you're talking. I was watching
okay,
you the
let's
first
do it.
time.
Hey, as long as no leaking information, right? There's no leaked information.
No.
No,
Oh, good.
I'm
Okay.
never leaking.
Okay.
The last person you ever need to say NDA to is me. I'm the king of NDA, but
Still
I get
NDA.
it. As this show was going on, I get side conversations sometimes via email, so I need to hop on top of it. And I was talking to a certain big indie developer that, if you remember back to a year ago,
Yeah.
it was one of the ones that I reached out to that was interested, but just today, right now, during the podcast, officially signed up. They're making us a new trailer, and this is someone that we were hoping would join in.
Yeah.
Now they're officially on. They're going to send me a trailer tonight, so we're
Better.
going to fire that over to
I'm
you.
not going to include it if they don't say it tonight. Deadline.
But they're making a new one specifically for us. But I said, just in case, give this one tonight so that if the new one comes in time, it's an easy swap. But at least it fits into the show and how we, I don't want to spoil anything. But we officially got that one. I'll tell you later. I don't know if you're thinking like, wait a minute, is it actually them? If you're thinking it's actually probably them, the last big one,
Oh yeah, when you told me earlier.
that's the
Nick?
one.
Okay. Yeah, I know who they are. I know who they are.
No, the last night was the other one that I got last night. Today
Wait,
I got another one. Right now, this is new.
Look at this look behind the scenes, guys.
I'm looking.
Last night, the one I got last night was new yesterday, but the one today, you don't know about this yet, unless if you remember the conversation from like a year ago.
He said someone you guys tried to get a year ago just was like, yo, I'm in, dog.
Listen.
I'm gonna tell you afterwards. I hate to be like this because I like everybody in the chat, but for the chat, you gotta wait for Indie Mania. I gotta give incentive to watch. And Zach and Lily, I would love to tell you too, but out of the developers thing.
Oh yeah, NDA. Yeah.
Can't yet. But Mike, I'll tell you.
We are in the most NDAs we've ever been in our entire lives. I've never been in most NDAs in my life. Like, I'm scared of my wife. I'm like, you want to eat? I'm like, I'm scared of saying. my wife was like, "You hungry?" I don't know if I just
if I'm allowed.
I'm allowed because there might be a game that's called the same thing as all when I eat. But yeah, that's how big NDAs I am. But Paul Gale, Lilly Hyrule, how are you? How can we? Where can we find you? How can we help you?
How can we help you? Well,
can I borrow 1,000? I'm just kidding. So you can find me everywhere as Lilly Hyrule, but mostly on YouTube. I am still going through my Zelda marathon. I will be trying to collect all of the masks before I finish my Majora's Mask, which is part of the Zelda marathon. I'm doing that on Tuesday. So make sure that you subscribe and also turn the notification bell on, because I don't really have a specific date where I stream. I do have a specific time though, 7:30 Eastern time. But it might be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, except Fridays, because Friday you're gonna see me here on the Nintopics podcast every Friday, 8:30 p.m. And I don't have anything else besides that at the moment. But yeah, that's all I'm working on at right now. Yeah, that's it for me.
Awesome sauce. Thank you, Lily. Thank you. Joshi J, you can find Joshi J at DJ Joshi J at on Twitter. You can ask her any questions about Zelda.
Yes. Otherwise, she will be super angry.
Treat her friends right, and she will love you. Treat her friends bad, and she will come at you. and so she's great. And so, you can find her here also on the Nintopics podcast every Friday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. All right. So now at the Odyssey, there's a few changes happening at the Odyssey.
Let's see.
That I want to talk about because, well, the channel started out as a Nintendo channel. I love Nintendo with all my heart. It will always be first Nintendo. But over the past, 3 years, more ever since Paul joined a year ago, my hype level for the indie world and my love for the indie developers and for indie games has grown to a point where, like, man, I would love to do this for the rest of my life, just working with them and helping them, because they I'm talking to developers who are just one person working for 5, 6, 10 years. I spoke to one who literally ended chemotherapy and they still finished their game after that, surviving. Family people, it's just insane when you go into, because in the indie world is so big. I know we think about the major companies, Way Forward, Tribute, Mid-Year. We think about all these big indie companies, but you have to understand indie starts at the very, very bottom. We got one that Paul's interviewing on the show, and you're gonna see it. You're gonna see the trailer. You're gonna see their story. They start at the very, very bottom. One person struggling to pay their bills. Maybe their goal is to make this game. They do it on their spare time, and they actually finish it. But when they get there, no money or way to promote their game. I've run so many across so many and received so many emails, like thanking us for doing this show, for doing this for the indie community. When we announced the IGN, they went nuts. Like, I have to read the emails. The people that went nuts, like the big ones, they want to join because IGN is there. But the little ones that joined the heart of the indie world, those indie developers, they went nuts. And they were so grateful, and like, you don't know what you're doing to my family, and this means so much to me. And that just, man. And so with that, I'm adding indie games to the channel. I'm going to cover indie games from all platforms. Doesn't matter where, Steam, PlayStation, Xbox. Tomorrow I'm starting a new show called Indie Spotlight, and I'm going to go around the indie realm. We're doing more stuff on the Indie Mia channel. NDA between Paul and I still. After the show, you'll learn more. But on the main channel, every Saturday I'm doing a little show called Indie Spotlight. You'll know tomorrow will be the first episode of Indie Spotlight, and we'll talk about Hollow Knight Silksong, that big game, right?
Yes.
Our next episode next Saturday will be Nintendo doppelgangers. The top 10 Nintendo doppelgangers. What is the doppelganger for Super Mario Odyssey in the indie world? There's a game that's very similar to that. You're going to find out what it is. The top 10 for the top 10 Nintendo games. What are the top 10 doppelgangers for those games? That way you can check them out and see, hey, wow, I'm getting the same experience as I'm getting from Mario Odyssey on this indie game, and maybe a little more, and so forth, right? Because I want to really highlight the indie world, and that's what we're doing with Indie Mania. Indie Mania right now is going to be the biggest indie showcase ever put together. We have these little shows here, 20-minute shows here, 30-minute shows here, segments. Last one day, we're doing a 3-day show, an hour each show. The biggest developer from the biggest companies to the smallest the one-person team, and it's gonna be awesome. And
It will.
so I always say this publicly. I could have not done this without my co-host Paul. Paul's a super influential, positive friend and influence, because Paul knows I get hyped and I'm like, since I haven't slept, I get so focused and so like determined. And I'm like, no, not this. And this, and it's because the passion comes through, and I'm like, and then Paul just kind of
Wait a minute. Come back to Earth.
He's a mic whisperer. He's the mic whisperer, the honesty whisperer, and so. And so I thank Paul publicly for being so patient with me throughout the process, because he knows I'm not an easy person to work with, especially when I'm very focused. I go by the clock. Paul knows over at the studio. We were catfish in the studio that we rented it, but we made it work out. Paul helped us and make it work out too, because I was about to walk out the door. That's another story for another. That's
gonna be an interesting story.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good story to tell.
Sure will.
Oh, man.
But yeah, indie spotlight is called every Saturday of the weekend. And the good thing about that is it's evergreen title, so I can record shows ahead of time. That's why I have tomorrow talk about what's happening with Silksong. Where's that game? And then the next one was gonna be a top 10 indie doppelgangers to Nintendo games, and then the top 10 free indie games coming, and then the top 10 RPG indie games, and so forth. There's plenty of coverage when it comes to indie games, and that's what's happening on the channel. Besides Monday through Friday news, you got some catch there, and of course,
amazing.
You can catch us here at the Nintopics Podcast every single Friday, 8:30 p.m. And in September, you can catch the biggest indie game showcase ever put together. One that is hopefully here to stay and make a dent in the gaming atmosphere. Indie Mania taking place everywhere. Hopefully everywhere your favorite content creator signs up to stream. We got Nintendo Land. We have Nate. We have Andres Restart. We have everybody that because we have a lot of the same viewers. They're all streaming the service, the place, and of course you can catch it
creators
mainly on IGN here, and of course on the Indie Mania YouTube channel, and on the Paul Gale Network channel, and hopefully the Zach Hendricks and the Lilly too. We'll all be streaming it, and so it'll be awesome, guys. It'll be all this hard work is going to pay off soon, and we can't wait for you guys to see what we have for you. But without further ado, I want to end the podcast because I need to find out what Paul was saying. All right, my friend. Go ahead, Paul.
I was thinking it's so funny that you were like, he purposely froze. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I'll be like, wait, this guy just froze here. You saw me saying that?
I heard you later on. Yeah, I heard you like right after I finished saying, he purposely froze, and like.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's good. Yeah, he's like, and this.
No.
No.
All right, my friends. Listen, do me a favor.
Live your life within the moment. And don't go wait until the morning. You never know when it is over. All that I know is they'll get older. So let us dance this side away.
All right, so everybody do me a favor. You guys have survived the week. Now have the best weekends ever. 2 words before we let you go. Don't ever give up. Don't do it, okay? Giving up is not an option. You're strong enough to survive. You can do it. You made this far. Keep pushing. And
Yes.
what else, guys? What else?
Journey on.
Journey on.
The journey continues, and you live to live another day. Tomorrow, check out the Indie Spotlight, and we'll continue another day. You guys have been great. Thank you so much, and I'll leave you with this music. And the 1, 2.
Live your life within the moment. And don't go wait until the morning. You never know when it is over. All that I know is they'll get older. So let us dance this night away.
Goodbye.